you for all that you've done for us this morning as we are here to update ourselves. Our prayer is that you grant us more understanding, more clarity, and increase our vision to be able to be people of change to this generation. Amen. In Jesus' name. Amen. Today we are just here to catch up with what we are doing so far. I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I think we are 7 on the platform. It's okay. We can move on. Um, this is a global platform, and I'm happy to have our own first global vice president. The person that's, if I'm not around, he's in charge. Today he's with us, and I'm so excited. Um, our own Gabriel, the board chair, he's also wrapping up. Today he's been meetings. I just finished a meeting. I'm here with also Mr. Martin with the chaplaincy and missions department. It's been meetings after meetings, and other people are wrapping up. So we are going to start. And today's discussion is very brief. It's just for us to catch up with ourselves. Some of you see things going on and you wonder what's going on. Oh, people are still asking where they should join. Okay. Okay, so briefly, what we have done, I'll just give a brief update, and then if anybody has any question, you can ask, and then we can move on. What we have done so far as a network is to make sure that we get most of the countries that we are in, we've mobilized volunteers to be able to register. And the good thing about that is that a lot of people are taking it serious. Once we are registered, it becomes very official. And as global executives, our responsibilities are not mandated to one particular region or country. The International Youth Network is a youth-led organization.
Hello.
Yes, you're welcome. So please mute and listen, and then when it's time, you can
Hello,
ask
Your
questions.
Excellency.
Yeah, we can see
Lillian.
you. Yeah, a global patron for the women. We can
Can you
see
hear
you.
me?
We can hear you loud and clear.
Cannot hear
Yeah,
anything.
we can hear you loud and clear. So maybe it's your network. Can anybody else hear me? Can you all hear me? Okay. Prophetess Ari, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you loud and clear.
Okay, so let's move on. So we are youth-led organization, a global organization, believing that we have to reach every young person across the globe. So this organization is not restricted to one particular country. People have asked me in the past, is it only in the US or Ghana? It is not. Surprisingly, we have people or members in over 25 countries. I mean, if Gabriel is here, he would give us the current updates. But then we are only registered in a few. So 2025, our focus was to get them all registered. Some countries we started, but we didn't finish. Some we intentionally stopped because we didn't get the right people to supervise the registration. It's important that we have people who are committed members to be on the registration. In some countries, they allow for foreigners to also co-sign, but then it gets expensive. And then right now we don't have funding for that. So we try to get people that we can really rely on to really sign. I remember we had a global meeting and it was suggested that the global presidents, the first, second, third, fourth, we are co-signers on all registrations across in every country. But then I realized that I can't be everywhere. And then even traveling to go and sign, or some like Liberia, they allowed for us to send the signature. So we're put on it. Some countries it's difficult. You have to go there in person. And then so we let it go when we try to get at least one person that we can trust in the country. So once we don't get that, we have the youth mobilizing like Sierra Leone. We have over 1,000 of young people who are members and they are waiting for us to commission them. But we still have not registered because the leadership, we tested them and it was some way. So we had to send some few special envoys to the country to check if other people who are not Sierra Leoneans can register. And that's what we are working on now. We realize that we can't really allow those that we have now, to register without any of us being on it, especially when it comes to the five global presidents. Or Gibil, who is now the board chair. So that is it with registration. So if anybody has any link with any country that knows how we can get it registered and the person can be on it, every global executive is allowed to co-sign with the people in the country. It's very important. Some people know people and know how we can get it done easily. There are lots of countries that we are not like Togo, for instance. We have 375 members, but we are still not registered because the leader that we know is not consistent. So sometimes we allow them to have meetings, but then we don't do anything formal, and then we don't commission anybody officially unless it's registered. But we also don't want to do things, and then the law of the country will catch up with us. Who are these people mobilizing? Mobilizing young people, and so we try to do it from the top. But we start by mobilizing people, and then once we hit, I think the minimum number is 100. Once we get 100 members, we register. In South Africa, we had a program with our partners, Rain Foundation, and through that we registered about 106 youth. So getting 106 youth means that we've hit our target. So we decided that we're going to register. But then the lady that was supposed to lead got pregnant. It was a very complicated one, so she couldn't. And then through bad luck, we lost the people scattered. And we had another lady who was trying to mobilize. And that's where I first the deputy global president. And so I'm sure. And today you are here. We'll try to resolve, get all the people back, and then try to register. I mean, like sometimes we don't get 100 people. If we get 50 or 30 and they are strong and serious, we also can register the organization. So that's it with this. And then the countries that are really ready, they are very high in numbers and they have strong leadership and they are ready for, and it's registered and they are ready for to be commissioned as soon as possible. We have Nigeria. We have Nigeria. We've always had very good leaders for Nigeria, but I've just been busy to go there, surprisingly, and it's very close to Ghana. But it's one of the places that, as soon as I leave the US, we are looking at Nigeria, and we also even have Kenya. Kenya has been registered for over a year, and we see a lot of the members leaving the platform because they realize that we go everywhere, we don't come there, and that will be on my next topic. So Kenya is one of the countries we are considering. So for the next quarter, we are looking at getting Kenya, Ethiopia, Nigeria, South Africa registered as soon as possible. These are places that we had good members and we keep losing them. And once we get it registered and then we commission the leaders, and then we can start designing programs on a global platform involving the people. So the next thing I want to update all of you is that, so who are those that travel and they say that they are always going anywhere, they don't come to us? So the responsibility in traveling and mobilizing and commissioning these youth that are ready to lead their country to push the UN resolution 2250 are the global executives and also those that we call special envoys. It's all our responsibility. And any volunteer that says that I love to travel, I'm flexible on getting visas, I'm willing to also join the commissioning committee, you are welcome to join us. But you have to be a global executive. So these are the people that we need to help in this regard. Commissioning of people are not restricted to the global president or the global vice presidents. It's for all global executives and even some US executives, but US is the headquarters, who are ready to help in this regard. So this is it. So that when you see people moving, you don't think that, oh, these are people that is their duty. No. So this is an open thing. And then talking about funding, somebody will ask how do I buy my tickets? All that. The thing is that we don't have any official funding for these things. You see me move everywhere I fund myself. Nobody gives me anything. But one of the things that we are looking at, I mean, the new board chair we got for Ghana has suggested to me so many times that she thinks that we have to start taking dues or some kind of membership dues or welfare or something to raise money for the registration of these countries or something. So far, I have been the only one registering all the countries that has been registered. I mean, paying the annual stuff. And then I've had Ebenezer Train Cancer, who has sponsored the registration of Kenya. And after that, everything else I take care of. So we are looking at trying to raise funds or find a way of paying some dues. Some countries are willing, and surprisingly, some of the members are willing to pay something. But I have always said no because I'm thinking that once we get our ECOSOC done, which we are very close, we get stronger affiliations and then there's more value on the network, then it will make it more attractive. But others who think that's about time. So one of the reasons why today I'm interested in this meeting is for us as global executives to discuss and vote whether we think that we have to start taking some membership dues across the countries. Um, Not every, and then I've been struggling with, okay, if we take dues, how much are we going to take? I I have been struggling with that. That's why I've always said no. We had a board meeting and it came up again, and I still said no. I think we should wait 2026. And now we are in 2026 March, and I'm still being asked whether some of the countries can start taking registration fee or membership dues or something. Right now, the only thing we do is when people are coming on board as executives, for the peripherals that we have to give them, pull up banner, complimentary cards, we tell them to contribute a little in the production of the things that we have to present to them. Aside that, we don't take any money from anybody to be a member of the International Youth Network. But this is where we are, where the board is saying we have to at least start allowing, even if executives or the senior membership pay some monthly contribution, and then we can use that money in return for those traveling to registering different countries and commissioning people. So it's open for all of us to um speak our mind on this. So I'll pause here. If anybody has anything to say on this, then we just talk about it. Otherwise, I'll continue. If or you want us to wait. Anybody has anything to say regarding the registration, the members we are getting all over the world, and how to keep them? And I've said so far that the registration, when it's registered, makes it more serious. It helps the people to get good patrons, people on the board and stuff. And I've also mentioned the fact that many more countries are coming on board. We have people mobilizing young people. I even had the country head for Togo telling me that he's formed two universities, country campus clubs, but it's still not registered in Togo. And we know Togo already has something about not allowing the youth to speak out. And we want to mobilize them and teach them UN Resolution 2250, which means that we have to do things the right way. So
Hello,
what?
hello.
Yes.
Yeah, good afternoon, good morning, good evening, depends wherever you are. Glad to be with this group. Anyway, I have received participants from Nigeria, which are several states. I got from Nigeria. Okay, and let me start again. I got people from Nigeria. Nigeria have about so many states. I was able to get representative from Abuja and Ogun State. It's left to us to engage them more. I believe Nigeria has been registered. Please help with the no. I mean, how to get them effectively involved in this. Hello.
Yeah, Madam Hude, yes. With what you just said, Nigeria has been registered for the past 2 years, and Nigeria has even few campus clubs across the country. We also have an acting country head. He's not even on the platform. I didn't invite him yet. I didn't invite the country head. But what happened with Nigeria is that we had the Islamic. I was going to talk later about the unit, the departments that we have. Nigeria has a very strong. The Islamic missions department is very strong. So gradually they were taking over, mobilizing people. We even had the acting country head getting an office, branding the place, creating letterheads, and doing their own thing. But what happened was that we started getting a lot of calls from different parts of Nigeria that this man was actually trying to raise funds to organize things without um, the notification of the global office. And it's very important. Because of these things, we only use one letterhead. So Nigeria was placed on hold. And the organization is growing very fast. And we have people coming on board. I mean, I'm from this country and I can do this. I can do this. And I noticed that unfortunately, some of my global members were not active. And I can't do it all. As we have new people coming on board, we have what we've already established to maintain, to guide. So countries that I sense that will give me problems, I just put on hold. I tell them freeze. So unfortunately, Nigeria was placed on a frozen state, telling them to wait till 2026 because the few group was very active doing things, and then the entire group they have their WhatsApp platform. I think they have even two platforms. And the gentleman, Mr. Some man there, Abiola, that I met in Chicago. He was supposed to be their board chair, but I realized that he was only focusing on Lagos. And his position was Nigeria. And Lagos, unfortunately, didn't have a strong group. So when you told me that you have somebody from Ogun State and Abuja, I reached out. I still talk to them almost every day. And I'm in serious. The lady in Abuja wanted to start mobilizing people. But meanwhile, on the general platform, we had people on that platform who lives in Abuja. But I think that the active state in Nigeria right now is the Calabar, Uyo. They are more. So they've always been doing things with them. And one of the reasons why I realized that Nigeria, even one state's like a country, is like how US is. And I was struggling to keep up with them. So I said, until we get a very strong country here that can really unite all of them, we can't do it. So what I do is that when people introduce people, I deal with them one on one to mobilize people in their community till we go to Nigeria. That is why when I started speaking, I said that I think that was before you joined. I said Nigeria was my next stop. Once I leave Ghana and I go back to Ghana, the US. Well, no, we had to go to Liberia first. We have a commissioning ceremony from Liberia. I think their ceremony is 11th April after Easter, and then the next immediate is Ethiopia. We have a program in Ethiopia for women. Once we finish the women's program, 23rd, 24th April, we come back. We are going straight to Nigeria. So maybe early May, we are going to solve the situation in Nigeria. We have an office rented and everything, but the leadership is not straightforward. I've had people sending me messages that, oh, some of the leaders I want to take money from us, take dues, take this. But the reason why I had to put a stop, I couldn't control them. And the global office, we have not met in a long time to agree to this dues thing. And I believe that once we agree on any principle, it should be a blueprint, a guide to all the countries. We can't have one country head making decisions, doing things, and then it's not cut across. And some of these decisions are very huge for me. I always want to rely on a global team for us to take this decision. So I talked to the lady, the woman at Ogun. She organized a charity and donated about 1,000 bags of rice. She gave me a report on that. That's this what she's doing. And I encouraged her. She said she was traveling. When she comes back, she would like me to come for us to talk. And she's in Ogun State. So when then we even created a WhatsApp platform for Ogun State, that as she begins to mobilize all these people in the group, we begin to now introduce them to the main Nigerian platform. The lady in Abuja, even she and I had a meeting this morning. She's a nurse, so she's busy. And she says that she has people that can really bring a lot of people together, plus the main platform. So I'm in touch with them, just that we've not been able to do anything as one country. And it's because the country head they had was focusing on the Muslims, where he's a Muslim. Tunde was focused on the Muslim. We had every program we have in Ghana, he organized the Islamic team and bring them to Ghana. So this is how serious they are. What about the Christians and other people? We are not focusing on. And I kept advising them, but it looked like Tunde's focus was on the Islamic missions unit. So we had to even demote him to make him acting country head with the interest in appointing and commission. Luckily, we never commissioned him. A country head that can be for all. And I'm really not being racist or religious biased, considering a Christian who can really get all involved. When you get the Muslims, they focus on only the Muslims. I don't know why. So it's one of the and we had a meeting with him. Few of us on the global platform had a meeting with Tunde last 2 weeks, and he sent an apology for some of the actions that he took, and he's ready to make corrections. But we told him to hold on. So the issue now with Nigeria is that some of us have to go there. Unfortunately, I've never been to Nigeria. But I had to pay somebody's flight to go there to supervise the registration and all that. Now we had to open an account because of what happened when they even sidelined us. And this is the reason why I just said in my opening statement that we are trying to now get every global executive to be part of registration in these countries. Because when you allow some of them to register alone, then or somebody, like for instance, the guy who left Ghana that we sponsored to go and chair the registration is a Ghanaian resident, is one of, has been my resident pastor before. I know him personally. So he represented me in the signing, you know. So if we don't get people to get involved or people to recommend their family members or people that we know, before we realize some countries will take, nobody can take the organization anyway, but they will take things and be doing things as if they own it themselves, and it's going to be tough for us to handle. So, Madam Hude, I don't want you to think that you recommend people and then we don't do anything. I'm seriously in touch with them, and I talk to them almost every other day. You can ask them. The lady in Abuja and I talk all the time. Even the other one in Ogun, we have a WhatsApp platform. Even the Abuja too, we created a WhatsApp platform, and we are talking. Just that I'm not pushing anything in Nigeria anymore until we go there. So I need people. We're trying to get like a 10-member delegation to go to Nigeria, or at least 5. And then I've even discussed with the woman from Ogun State about accommodation, and we were even talking about it, if we can get an Airbnb or a hotel. Hotels are usually expensive, or if anybody who has a big house can host some of us. Because when you get there, all these things are expensive. And we even also went ahead and discussed if we can plan a program. Once we get there, we do all these things, open an account, and then host a program, and then leave. But then which state are we also going to? I'm talking to her. She's in Ogun State. One of the leaders in Calabar wants us to be in Calabar. I said, Nigeria is huge. So the delay has also been trying to get a unified country head. Now, my final response on Nigeria. Somebody has advised that we rather get state chairs and not focus on the country head for now, because it's huge. It's a very huge country. So we focus on getting Lagos state chair, the state chair for Lagos, Abuja, all the states that we get people, and they mobilize people in their various, and then we leave the country head alone for now. And then we grow the states, and then eventually a strong character will emerge, and then we can appoint a country head. So now that you brought Nigeria on board, this is states of Nigeria as of now. That's why most of people is Nigeria was registered a long time ago. We don't see a lot of big things. This is the reason why we had an acting country head who was mobilizing only the Muslims, were raising funds on their own and doing things, and then got an office to the extent that I had a letter from Canada, a university in Canada that reported that they had a letter from a country in Nigeria trying to affiliate for scholarship for some people. And luckily, the dean of the school in Canada knows me. And the International Youth Network as a body has an affiliation with that school to organize programs for us on partial scholarship. So you see how God works. And then so they wrote to me in the US, then I was in Atlanta, and then I had to respond quickly and then put a hold on that request from Nigeria. So Nigeria, they are very mischievous. So in as much as we are getting a lot of attention from there, we have to be very strategic. And Madam Hude, I hope I've answered your question. We are going to go to Nigeria, and once we get there physically, we are going to spend a whole month. Some people will go with us and leave early. But I'm going to be there for a whole month, moving around, trying to vet people and get the right people in place before we allow them to resume active duties. Yeah, thank you very much. I see your thumbs up, meaning that I've answered your question. Anybody has anything to say so far? Then I talk about next thing. I see our New York chair here. Thanks for joining us, Jerry. Oh, I see Dr. CNN. I'm happy you are here with us because I really need your counsel on a lot of things. Um, so, um, so global executives, I need you to help me out. Do you think the countries that wants to start collecting dues, we should allow them? Must it be a unified dues? Well, this is something that I'm struggling with. But some of the things I cannot call the shot unless I get approval from the global executives.
Okay.
So
Can I chip in here?
yes, please, when you come in, you mention your name and your position so others can
Okay.
know who you
My
are.
name is Ambassador Hudeno Naut. I'm SDG ambassador for now. And I believe our president, in my opinion, the global president has already appointed her team to various positions. However, the main challenge, once again, is funding. I believe she should give them the opportunity to represent her in other countries by supporting them financially. Since our coffers are currently empty, we kindly request that the financial representatives take the lead in funding so we can effectively carry out our duties. Thank you.
Is Somaila here, the global director for finance? He's not here. The entire thing is shifting to money matters, so he must be here. He's in the U.S. Army, and I think they just finished some training, so he's getting ready to change and come online. He's asked permission. So once it's money matter, we'll get to that. But with regards to the countries, the registrations, my suggestions, what do you guys have to say about that? Today we have
Can I
the
can I
first
come in?
global vice president beyond here. Most of you have not seen him. When I'm not there, he's next in charge. So today he's going to give us a lot of um ideas. Oh, Director Admin, oh, His Excellency, please go ahead.
Oh, first of all, thanks for inviting us again. Welcome to the States, Your Excellency. And also greetings to everybody, Your Excellencies. Um, First of all, the issue of money in terms of dues. If the country is well structured, I will advise that they start the dues process. But the issue of fundraising is not solely on the global office. Why? Because you've been given the mandate as somebody who giving you the authority. Obviously, you qualified when it comes to the issue of fundraising, mobilization. That's why they give you the authority to be a country head. Because I've been a country head before. It's all about getting people involved, organizing events. You can start small, organize something. You can invite your locals, statewide, and then once you start the small fundraising, you can invite the global office as well. Some of us are also here in America. We all will come and support. It doesn't matter if you have obviously 50 people that will show up. I mean, whatever contribution you get, that will be something that you can start off. You see, so when you do things gradually, then also the global office will see that, oh, this country is very, very serious. Then we start mobilizing the excellency, the global president. We also talk to the board of directors, the global head. Um, would have a meeting. She will have a meeting and say, listen, this country is doing very well. We just need a support. And then they'll start also our bit so we can help. But if you don't start, you can't finish. So let's lose initiative and then the global office will support. That is my opinion. Thank you very much.
Okay. So from what I heard you say, like we should allow, if the country is well structured, we should allow them to start taking dues.
Yes.
So my thing is, how do we monitor these monies? And is it going to be we allow them to come up with their own amounts, or the global office going to say, okay, to be a member of the network across the world, let's say it's $1 for registration, and then every month there's a $50 or $1 dues. So, and then we must also consider the currencies. We allow the country heads to make decisions and then give us a report, or we have a standard rate. So once the country is structured and we know we can really monitor, we allow them. What do you suggest, His Excellency?
Okay, so the issue of, let me use my little experience in terms of how we do things. You want people to be part of the event to attract them. So most of the things that sometimes let people move away is money. So the strategy is, okay, you have to pay dues. Okay, so every month you can pay $10 if it's okay. If once you raise the $10, you have about 30 people, and then obviously you're not organizing every activities every month. You have a phone meetings that you can have, because you have to always meet and share ideas, and then probably every 3 months you organize something. By doing so, you raise money. So when you start like that, it helps people to know that they have to contribute. It also helps people to know the money is not that a big deal, because people need to be motivated to be part of this event. And so we need motivation. Once somebody comes on board, the person is willing. Obviously, if the person not willing, they won't be a part of it. And so the only way we have to make sure that we raise money is the dues aspect. And this is how we start. And then, like I said, the only way we can have people who raise money is when we have dinners and lunches or something like that. That way we have a rate for somebody to contribute. They will, because we are all meeting face to face. So it's all about strategy. And also when it comes to the issue of monitoring, the account is open. Whatever goes in, they will know. Whatever comes out is recorded. The banks always have a record of whatever comes out, whatever goes in. It's the country head that will sit and have a meeting with the executives and say, listen, this is what we have. And then from the statewide, it comes to the global office. That's how you check these things. So it is good when we give people the opportunity to work. And then, in as much as they are working, we are monitoring what they're doing. And at the end of the day, it won't be like, oh, you are controlling somebody. But at the end of the day, also, as global office, this is what we do. We need to monitor. Thank you very much. I hope what I said, it makes sense. Thank you.
Yeah. Rion, can I please get your opinion? You are the first global vice president, and your opinion is very key.
Yeah, thanks, Lillian, thanks, colleagues. I think there's three things that come to mind. Obviously, I think the dues approach is a very natural evolution for the organization. As we know, once it gets established and once there's activity, you do want to start, creating some kind of sustainable financial system. And obviously, fundraising is a key part of it, but the dues will create an internal mechanism for that. However, with that, in terms of the due amount, I think we need to think through how do we differentiate, given that it's a global network, between, for example, the US chapter and a chapter in somewhere like Togo or South Africa. So like the operating costs are different, the type of events that are happening are different, people's disposable income is different. So what a lot of international networks do is they'll sort of have a tiered approach in the sense of, for high income countries, there's a specific standardized due. For middle income countries, there's a different one. However, the tiers work, but it's just recognizing the fact that the people in that country have a different, available income, can contribute differently, and also the cost of actually implementing programs is going to look very different if it's in, the US versus in Africa. So that's the first point. The second point is around, if you start asking people dues to join a network, because up until now it's been free. It's very easy to join a network, be part of it, follow the updates that go on the WhatsApp channels and so on, and attend meetings and so on virtually. But once you actually, start asking people money consistently, then you also have to make a very clear value proposition to them. And that obviously requires strong teams on the ground that are implementing programs consistently, because if people, pay whatever amount for the year to be part of this network, they're at least going to want to know what is going to come out of this. So having that very clear in terms of what is the offering, what is it that they're getting free access to, is it a magazine, is it a course, is it a set of events, how many events, these are things that we have to think through. Otherwise people will sign up, they'll pay, and then they'll leave, because now they're putting actual, their money into this, and so they want to see something coming out, as opposed to if it's something free. So if nothing happens, they're like, okay, it's fine, maybe we're not gonna, I'll stay on just to see what happens. But if they put money into it, they might then expect more, they will expect more from the network. The third point is around the operations and the management and the governance side of things. I mean, when you have a global network like this, as you mentioned in the case of Nigeria, you don't want to create a system where the global body has to micromanage everyone, because that's not sustainable, and you can't run the global network that way. But you do want to create mechanisms for accountability and for following up. So I think that's something that also still needs to be thought through, to say, how do the national bodies maintain the necessary autonomy on the ground to do what they need to do with the resources that's available, but at the same time there's the central governance structure where there is consistent linkages, because we know that there are many networks in the world where they establish chapters in countries, and then 5 years down the line the chapter is really strong and they have money, and then they stop reporting to the global body, and the global body has lost complete control over them. And then if they do, as you mentioned with Nigeria, if they do dodgy things, it reflects on the image, because people don't see, oh, it's Nigeria's chapter. They see the overall brand of the entire global network. And for partnerships, that's a really bad thing, because then partners, you lose reputation. Word travels, as you mentioned before. You can imagine if a school, the one that you partnered with in Canada, sees, okay, these people, they have chapters that are rogue. It harms perception, and it takes time to rebuild that trust. So especially if money is involved. And again, also in terms of balancing how resources are used nationally, it's also a question of how do those resources then actually feed into the global office and the work of the global office in any way. I mean, I know there's networks around the world. Some of them, what they'll do is the national chapters collect the money for the dues. They spend it on their own operational and programmatic budgets for what they're doing in the country, but they have a set, amount that they transfer over to the global office, so the global office can also continue to operate. And that again is a fixed fee that gets transferred. So that's also something to think about, because you don't ultimately want, strong chapters globally, but then the central global office is supposed to coordinate everything, doesn't have resources itself. Yeah, so I think those are just a few thoughts to put on the table as we're discussing this.
Okay. That's brilliant. So Rion just said, I like what he said, the second point, that we have to also be strategic and careful. We start taking dues and people also run away. But then we need to also raise money. I have been the one saying no all the time, but I think that 2026 about time. And then our global patron, women's patron, just said something. She said that the those in charge of money should start funding. So where would they take the money from? Everybody here is a volunteer. Um, I like the suggestions that Global Director Admin also said, a special envoy. He said that um, once the country is structured, we can allow them. But let's think through, like Beyond said, how much are we going to tell them to take? And that is, I wish we can. I don't know if Edward is here now. I wish I see Ekia. Oh, Ekia is supposed to be very busy, but she's here. God bless you for joining us. Um, like our fourth global vice president, even his her daddy is dead. And I remember the chaplaincy director was asking me, "Are we raising funds for her? How much we have in our coffers?" I said, "We don't have anything." So that's something that we have to look at. These are some of the things. Once we are a dues paying organization or people are doing, in the constitution, it says that any amount of money that every country raises, 30% comes to the global office. Well, we don't have a country. And one of the ways that we can raise money is not only collecting dues or welfare or anything, but organizing programs that can also help raise a little money. So I think that's something that we should look into and encourage the leadership to encourage the country heads to start doing. I remember there was a meeting last week with the youth president for Ghana. Let me share with you. He said that he is not going to allow people to become youth MPs and ministers for free anymore. Well, he belonged to the National Youth something something. And before you could even pick a form to register, they paid 100 Ghana cedis. That's about $10. Now, once you are selected, they want them to dress some way, do certain things. So you have to raise, each person is supposed to raise $250, equivalent to cedis. And most of them are on campus, they don't have money. So what they did was that they set a competition for them and they had people voting for them to win. So they partnered with a voting company that helped in collecting the money. When people vote, it turns into cash. Most of them even had more than the 250 Ghana cedis, that the $250. Some of them even had $500 in votes. Once you make more money, the money is not given to you in cash, but it's kept for anything that comes up that the youth MPs or the youth ministers are supposed to engage in. If you're supposed to contribute, you already have money in your coffers. And let's say, for example, if you are the youth minister for agriculture, you double as the SDG ambassador for climate change, SDG Goal 13. So whatever you want to do in terms of climate change, you already have some money. If there's a program with the COP or anything that has to do with climate change and you want to attend, you already have maybe $300 down. So all you have to do is to raise money. And they have a way of doing this voting and raising money by this voting exercise. And I thought it was a very brilliant idea. Luckily for me, the tenure of office for all our youth MPs, we have the youth government system. When you talk about the UN resolution 2250, it talks about young people having a voice and being placed on the decision-making table. So one of the things we do in every country as signature representation is having a youth government system, modeling what the country has. So the country has a king, like the British, like our country head for UK is trying to mobilize young people. They have not started yet. They got their registration just in November. And one of the things that they want to do now is to create the system of governance in the UK. You understand? So this is brilliant. And in Ghana, they are now trying to use this medium to raise funds. And they have decided that they will talk to the country head. Well, the country head mobilizes everybody in the country, but the youth president deals with the youth government system. So the youth government system is coming up with a policy that whatever they do as part of their MPs and everything, they'll raise funds through the government system and stuff like that. And it's their money, it's not for Ghana. And it's one of the things I told them I mentioned at today's meeting. And then the rule is every country's income, 30% belongs to us so that we can also work efficiently. Now, if the youth president raises this money and is not even the country head for Ghana, Does he give the 30% to the country head for Ghana, or it comes straight to us? Because the youth president also works under the Ghana structure. So these are some of the things I also noticed in terms of fundraising. That if we allow the various departments, one of the department that is raising a lot of money now is our chaplaincy and missions unit. They have open accounts, and what they do is some of them voluntarily even put money in the accounts and they take it back just to make sure they always have a running account. And it's very interesting. Sometimes and then, like I said, where I can monitor, I try to do. I'm on these accounts and sometimes I see them. You realize somebody $300, $200 deposits, and then you see the withdrawals. And last year, I think all these initiatives came because we qualified for ECOSOC, but we didn't have a very good financial statement. So these people decided that they'll open 2 accounts and be running it. But you see, I was initially even using the US registration, but that's the first one. But now even US is a bit slow because we have a country here who is not active. But the Ghana people and the division of the units is also helping. So when the country head is slow, the various units begin to work hard. So it still keeps the organization going. And it's the next thing I'll talk about once we finish about this funding thing. So if we all agree that some kind of money we should start mobilizing from members. If Martin is still here, can you please do a poll? Maybe we can. Oh, you are not on the Global Executives page. I'll add you. Just do a poll and then let's add the rest. Do we think that we should start taking dues or registration fees from members, and how much? Once we get a yes, the finance committee will start to think about it, and then we'll make it. And then now all of us here on the global office must be responsible in making sure that we can monitor. So I think I can end on this topic. So this has become very important, and I think I've doubled talking about the problems we have with some of the countries if all of us don't get involved. And Nigeria came up, and it was a very good example. And I think I'm done on this matter. The next thing I would like to talk about is why you see us having a lot of different departments now. So how we are operating now, let me see if I can find the organogram, is that we have the global office as the head of the entire organization. We don't have a station country, so we work with the country heads. So the global, anybody that has a title global, it means that you represent every country that is part of the network. And then within the country, we have the country head. The country head is in charge of operations and money, everything that needs to be done within the country. And then the country has 3 deputies, I think 4, just like I do, 4 deputy country heads, and with a finance director, and I think programs or conference director. And it ends there. And now the country head's office has these people, and then they have the region, depends on how the country is structured. Like for instance, the US, the country head for USA have state chairs. Like we have Jerry here, who is the state chair for New York City, New York State. We have Ikuya, who is the state chair for Jersey, New Jersey. And we have Fabio, who is the state chair for Ohio. I'm trying to remember a few of them. And remember we made Prophetess Ari, she moved to Minnesota, the state chair for Minnesota. She's also here, you know? And so now all these state chairs, because the country is big, like Ghana, they don't have state chairs, they have the regions. Well, Ghana has 16 regions. So now these people within the states work with the country head. Now, this is the straight structure. And all they have to do is to come up with initiatives and plannings and ideas to help the entire vision achieve its purpose. Now, within the global office, we have certain offices that also works on the initiatives of the global president. For example, we have the global director for chaplaincy and missions. One of the things that we have to do, we create our counselors and mentorship. We had a 3-hour meeting this morning with the chaplains. I wish some of you were on the platform. I didn't want to bother you, but it was a very detailed meeting, and they are even voting on something right now. The chaplaincy division has become very strong in about 3 countries right now. And in the past, we had created, the country heads had created like counselors and things. They serve like counseling and guidance for our campus clubs. We scrapped that. So if you see chaplaincy and missions from the global office, it's a direct initiative from our office to make sure that these chaplains are trained from all the countries that we have. And we realize that our chaplaincy gets its directives from our UN chief, His Excellency Dr. Finn. And he is strictly on with Christianity. But no, we are tolerance. We tolerate everybody. So we added the missions to, welcome. Our lady commissioner for, women's commissioner for USA has joined us, Francisca. Yeah, you're welcome. So we decided that what we'll do is that we would create some offices within the global office. So these initiatives will be directed and supervised by the global directors. And the strategy is this: once a country head is not really working in a particular country, the global director that supervises a particular initiative will also appoint people within the country, and they can be functioning. That way, we still don't have, because, for example, in Ghana, we have some of you, I managed to put you on every group just for monitoring. I'm sorry, but you're in so many groups. We have over 30, and it's still growing, campus clubs in Ghana. And about 10 of these campuses are very active. In fact, they keep me on my toes when I'm in Ghana. Every time they organize something on campus. This morning, as early as 5 a.m. in the US, I have to wake up because our West End University students in Ghana are having a meeting, and they wanted me to, but ideally it's their country head who is supposed to be there. But the country head now is not really working hard. So you see, the campus clubs cannot go down. So then we have the chaplaincy department having chaplains in Ghana who we now assign as mentors and supervisors and counselors to supervise these groups. Then we have the youth presidents whose MPs and ministers also, they are assigned to their municipal to take care of the campuses that we have. So you see, when the country head himself, who is supposed to work directly under us, is not really coming up with things, these initiatives still keep the country going. So sometimes you see a particular country doing lots of things. It's not because the country head is doing so much, but because the initiatives and the divisions, we can now call them units, they are working hard. So they are mobilizing. So we still make sure that the country doesn't go down. A very good example is what's the name? Liberia. We had a country head that got busy, but the various campus club heads mobilized themselves and they started hosting debates among themselves and doing stuff, going back and forth. You know, even here in the US, right now we have Anita, we had Dr. CNN who believed so much. He has my vision, like partnership. We will partnership with every UN chief on activities, the UN head office here and there, and all the time. The entire we are everywhere. I get international people coming to the country. We partner with them to host global assemblies, and we're busy. We have Anita who is now not doing anything because she wants complimentary cards before she can work. You understand? Now, even though Anita is not doing anything, I have people in the various states who are still mobilizing and getting some activities ongoing so that it still keeps us running. Any project going on, you see our global envoy trying to put us on, put our logos on to keep us still moving. So we have decided to create all these divisions to tolerate different religions, to tolerate different cultures, and gender equality, so that we don't go slow. So we have the main structure with the country heads reporting to us, and then now we've created these divisions with the units so that the organization network doesn't run slow. And then when you are appointed a country head and you yourself from your office, you're not really doing anything. From the global office, we can query you or we can get you suspended, or we can just sack you. But one of the rules that we have set from the beginning, we don't sack anybody. So we can just let you be, and then an appointed global executive can create an initiative within the country with his or her own department to still keep the country going. And when your tenure of office is up, we just get rid of you. And that's one of the reasons why we don't give people 2 years or 4 years anymore. Now, every appointment is only for 1 year. Every appointment is only for 1 year. And we don't sack people because it's voluntary. But if you don't work, we'll work around you so that we don't slow down the organization. But when your 1 year is up, we don't renew it for you. So that's how we are operating now. And we are working on our ECOSOC. We are trying to get it done. The global board chair and I have been writing reports. You know, if some of you know, it's a lot of paperwork. And we want to use the same data information to get COP and get the Department of Global Communications. It used to be unique, the United Nations Information Center. And the good news is that the Department of Global Communications is in every country through the UNDP. And what we are trying to do, since our global office, like getting the general affiliation, the paperwork is too much, within the countries, one of the strategies we are also doing within the countries, the UN organizations that are very strong, that works with the civil society organizations. What we are doing is that we are now networking and affiliating with them. Like Ghana, we have a what is called Kunangos, the coalition of NGOs associated with the United Nations. It's very official, and it works directly with the unique United Nations Information Center, the Department of Global Communications, with the UN office in Ghana. We are affiliated 100%, and we are a member. So you see, I realized that our global registration with the UN office direct was delaying. It's a lot of money and a lot of paperwork. So now I decided, I spoke to Gibril, we are going to focus on country based. So when this country is ready, the UN office there, we try to lock it up. So that's what we are doing. And the good news is that we are achieving a lot. Now, even Kenya is very close in getting a lot of affiliations with different UN officers that deals with climate change and all that. And so that's what we are doing. So it depends on the country that you are in. If you know any organizations that have these kind of coalitions or affiliations, and then we can be doing that. So that helps the country to be able to function well. Recently, they voted for some leadership in Ghana for the UN office, the coalition, and I was put on the management team, you know, as even second in command, which is very good for us. And we are trying to do a lot of that within the US. Last year, we signed two MOUs, one with WOMAI and SICA. They are all ECOSOC accredited. And the agreement was for us to work as though we were accredited through them. So whatever the UN gives to its ECOSOC consultative status members, we get to benefit from them. We signed it May 21st in Florida. And the good news is that this year, no, I think the same last year, October, we signed another one with Canada, the City Higher Learning Institute. They also organize training programs from certifications, diploma to PhD. And we have the MOU we signed was that, and they are accredited by the Board of Canada Education. Every program or workshop that we organize, when people want to get certified and accredited, once we organize our training institute, organize training for them, we bring the certificates to them, they just vet them, and they reissue their certificates from an accredited education board from Canada. So these are some of the partnership that we are doing. That's why now you see us doing exams and programs and stuff. And all of that is to encourage young people, let them know that it's not a waste of time to volunteer with us. You volunteer like an ordinary NGO, but you also grow and get certified. Tomorrow you leave us, you have all these certifications that belongs to you. And the final partnership that we signed, we signed that in the UK just a month ago. A young global leader. Some of you saw the poster that was designed for me to attend the CSW 70 at the UN. It's not only with the International Youth Network, we didn't even get any slots to attend. But you see, our partnership with Young Global Leaders, the head office in the UK, gave me the slot to attend. It was for free, you know. So one of the things that we do for them, we also help them to mobilize because they don't have a membership based thing going on. So we help them mobilize people as and when they're organizing activities. And when they have slots for the UN programs, COP, or any of these things, they release some of the slots for us, able to attend. So that gradually, as we work on ours, we can also enjoy some of these benefits. And he has even released the calendar for Geneva, Austria, and New York between now and the end of the year. But apart from few leaders, they try to take few donations to also support the organizations for this. And we've in the past, we've even had this through Dr. CNN with what's the name? Bannister, who is also part of my team of advisors. So these are some of the things that we've been doing so far. So the whole idea is to mobilize young people, mentor them, direct them, and then expose the UN Security Council Resolution 2250 to them. But we don't also want to be an organization that is just an ordinary NGO that is just moving up and down. We want them to be responsible. We want them to study. We want them to take advantage of opportunities. And I've realized that few of us as leaders cannot do this all by ourselves. That is why we have now allowed, first, we didn't allow adults to join the organization, the older folks. Now we've allowed them and we've created departments for them. And then we help teach them what the youth must know. And we expose them on platforms that they can network and get more insight. Then they can join us, who are the real members, to now be able to guide the millions of youth that we are about getting. So all the chaplaincy you see us doing, chaplaincy, they are going to be the counselors for our campus clubs and then some of our outreaches that we do. And then the youth governments are going to be modeled to act as if they are president, youth MPs, and desire to be on the decision-making table. Whilst they are learning all that, they need to be guided very well. My final thing is on our diplomatic royal missions. You realize that these days I have a logo on my status and it's diplomatic royal this thing. That came about last year because in 4 different countries, even we went to South Africa with one of our partnering organizations. At the time, I called even Rion, my vice president. He was not in South Africa. And we met a lot of these Zulu chiefs and a whole lot of people. And we noticed that a lot of people, young people, look up to them. And also in Tanzania, we saw the same thing in Tanzania, in Zimbabwe, in the UK, where they have royalty, and a lot of young people believe in even the royal family than even their main system and government system. In Ghana, most of you would testify, is number one, the life chieftaincy stuff and stuff. And we have 60, if I'm not exaggerating, 60% of our adult membership of the network who are into royalty. And we had a diplomatic ball last year in Ghana. And one of them asked, so if you create, so Madam President, if you create the youth government system for these young people, and what happened was that our youth MPs held a parliamentary sitting. It was very beautiful. So one of the chiefs got up to speak. We did it at Kofi Annan Peacekeeping Center. And she was like, you organize these things and it looks like it's attractive for young people who can speak English, who wants to be MPs, who wants to be youth ministers, who wants to be president, who wants to be chief justice, who wants to be the chief of staff. So it's beautiful. They do these things and they like it. And in their head, I can also be an MP. And all the other young people we invited from all the schools that came, they'll be lobbying to be this. And it's beautiful. What about these young people who don't believe in this? They believe in the traditional ruling. Because we have like Asante Hene. The Asante Kingdom has a whole court where some cases are withdrawn from the courts, gone to the palace, and the chief, the king of the Ashanti Kingdom sits down. If you go to the Greater Accra region, the Osu tribe, they have a whole huge palace and a court. That the people of Osu don't even take their cases to the police; they take it to the courts, the traditional courts. So some of these queen mothers ask me, if you are talking about youth in decision making, it's not only the government system, the legislature and judiciary. We have the traditional ruling. So let's create traditional courts where some of these young people who would want to be chiefs and kings to rule their people in their kingdoms. And I'm like, wow, I have traveled to different countries and I've seen this. And one of our patrons, I hope he was on this line, is a white man, Mr. Roberts. Mr. Roberts, are you here? I think he's not. Mr. Roberts is a white German who travels to different countries, mobilizing people of indigenous something. He calls it indigenous something, something. He's one of our global patrons. And he believes that there are indigenous people from every country. So he also has an organization that mobilizes these people. So he told me, Lillian, I like what you're doing, but we need to mobilize people who believe in tradition, culture. So that's also birth what you now see at diplomatic royals courts. But we call it, I think, royals units, royals. So people who believe in royalty, traditional way of ruling, the decision making. So, for example, in Ghana, how do we have our traditional rulers ruling cases in their traditional courts? If you ask me, I don't know. But once I allow this to be part of our youth mentoring system, I had to give answers. I don't know. If I ask Dr. CNN, he will tell me what he's read in books or what he can observe, he has observed. If I ask my own vice president, he's a white man, you're going to see it. He doesn't know much. Maybe he'll tell me what he sees the Zulu people do in South Africa. So we realized that let's have a unit called the Royals Court. And because we want to train them in diplomacy for them to be decorum, because some chiefs who are very local. So we just added the diplomatic royals to make it more attractive. So that's the meaning of the name. So now we decided that we are going to create that unit. And it will be strictly people in royalty who will be part of this unit or this department. But they are royal, they are the chiefs in these courts. They know. So once we have the membership of this club, now we now tell them about the network and what these people are, but they are also under the network. Let's not forget. And whatever they are doing, we try to make it look attractive based on our vision. And now we get the youth who are interested in the diplomatic royals court to now form what is called the Royals Court Club. So that instead of forming only what we have now, youth government system, the youth president, the youth MPs, the youth ministers, we now have the youth chief king. They also model what the real traditional courts are doing. So these diplomatic royals units will only be in countries where royalty plays in, where they have the traditional ruling or ruling of law or whatever. I don't know if I'm saying the right thing. So it's one of the questions that 2 or 3 people have asked me. It's new, and I think my DP now on my WhatsApp has the pull-up button the brands department did. It's not even very nice. We'll change it. So this is something that we just birthed out of last year's AGM when we had the annual general meeting. We had 300 and something plus chiefs and kings and queen mothers attending the AGM last year. And when we also commissioned Abiam Danso, a global branch, but he's a chief in a particular village, he invited over 500 chiefs. And on that day, we had our Speaker of Parliament and our Chief Justice and 15 MPs gracing the occasion. And he was like, "You do this for decision making and for youth. What about the chieftaincy ruling, the traditional ruling?" So that quickly came up. I nearly organized a global meeting, but I just spoke to the board and one or two people. And then we waited, and during the AGM, it came up again. So during the diplomatic ball, it came up. So then we said 2026, we are going to plan and organize it. We have not launched it, we have not commissioned it yet because I'm busy. Once we do that, it becomes my headache. Even when the brand department came up with the logo, we've had 18, no, let me check. I think 19 people, chiefs calling, they want to be part of it. And I realized that I needed to talk to Gabriel, one or two people. Then we can now add it to the constitution, see how we are going to structure the organogram of that department. Last month, I had Sariki. Sariki means a chief in Hausa language. Sariki Kenzi calling me from Bonga Hafo region saying that he has seen these things online about a diplomatic royals court something. And he is a Zongo chief for over 100 chiefs in their region in Ghana. And if we are saying it's going to be a diplomatic royal something, means that he believes that with me involved, it's going to be a unit that chiefs are going to be trained to be decent, to be diplomatic, but lots of chiefs are too raw. And if they can do this and be able to help in creating traditional courts for young people to learn how traditional ruling, he would like to get on board. And I'll be very honest with you. Another chief called me from the northern region and said he's willing to give us 2 plots of land if we would use it only to build a traditional court where young people can come and sit down and discuss, because the young people in the northern region are losing interest in traditional stuff. All of them want to run to Accra and they don't want to learn their culture. So if the International Youth Network is coming up with this to help young people to learn about the traditional rule of law, then they are donating 2 plots of land. So on one platform, I had the opportunity to be talking to some of the leaders, the leadership of Ghana. And then one guy who is just one of the SDG ambassadors who lives in Kaswa now told me, Madam, I'm also from a royal home in the Volta region. If this youth thing is coming about traditional ruling, I can give a plot of land from the Volta region. I'm like, what? Wait a minute. I have not even spoken to the global office. We've not commissioned this on the ground, and people are willing. So people are more interested in supporting this agenda by donating lands. And it has not even come out loud yet. So I realized that this is something that's, once a meeting like this comes up, I should mention, we should all be encouraged and push it. So based on where we all come from, right now on this platform, we have people from America, from Liberia, from Nigeria, from our Secretary General is here, Hamza, His Excellency. I'm happy to have you. Yesterday you had your Ramadan, so I'm sure now you're happy. You know, even on this platform, we have people from different places, and this initiative is something that's it's even beginning to excite me. So I'll pause here again to get comments and suggestions from you. For those of you who just joined, you are welcome. And just so you know, this call was a wake-up call. It's long overdue. And it was the first vice global president who called me to order. He needs to catch up. He's been busy. So I needed to give him an update. And I realized that our third global vice president, who is Faudi. I think I saw him briefly. Faudi, are you here? Okay. So Faudi, he's also originally from Afghanistan, but he's now in America. I needed to catch up with them, and then so when Rion drew my attention, I said, then let me call this meeting so I can update the leadership. And those are some of the things that normally before it becomes a law, I have to get approval, and then we can get it rolling. So this is where we are now. So I pause here. Anybody has any question for me based on what I've said again, or suggestion or addition, please?
First of all, Excellency Dr. CM here. let me commend you for that diplomatic royal squad. I think it's a step in the right direction, especially for Ghana. You know, one of the things that really strengthens communities is culture. Knowing the culture as well as chieftaincy. You know, before diplomatic came in, is always strictly royals, traditions, and so if we are incorporating the traditions as well as diplomacy, it really strengthens the youth. They also know about how to do things ethically and morally. And so we just need to use it as a platform to motivate the youth and understand that they can also know about tradition and also know about diplomacy, peace and security. So I commend you for that. Thank you.
As a global special envoy and director admin, I really appreciate your approval. Can I see that global patron for the women wants to say something.
Hmm. I want to say something.
Go ahead, please.
What I want to say, you are coming from a very good direction, right? Many people believe we are under the UN, representative from the UN. Have we clearly represented our purpose and goals to the parent body, such as the United Nations, in order to gain their full support? If our objectives align with theirs, we could develop a well-structured proposal and approach them for a renewable partnership where they may cover a significant portion of the cost. I am still on the funds because in Africa we don't have the luck that other countries have, the foreign countries have. So the money aspect is really a burden to many of them and us. Now, this approach will also reduce the need to test the loyalty of group members and help eliminate doubts, questions, and possible withdrawals from the group. This is what I want to say. Because when you go to the United Nations budget, I mean, what they get every year, the United Nations core annual budget is about 3.7 billion with the peacekeeping and humanitarian operations. Their total funding runs into tens of billions. I don't see any reason they cannot spare us $1,500,000, 500,000, so that we can carry on with your dream and our dream. Thank you.
Can I come in a bit? Can I explain something?
Before global director you speak, is this answer can be very well answered by the first global vice president, but he has been in the UN circles and all this. Both of us were serving in Bufuna and all that, so he can give the best answer. A lot of people, when they are volunteering with organizations such as ours, there's a mindset. We are not a UN agency. We are not a UN. Um, okay. Rion, are you here, please?
Yes, yeah, and I think I can make some comments on this that I was
Yeah, go ahead,
already
and
going
then
to make.
and then
Yeah,
let us
I
see
have
what
to
you're
jump
saying.
off soon, but let me just make the comments. I think the point about how we link this into the UN system and motivate for their support, I think this approach of building this network of traditional leaders really is a very unique value proposition, because usually when we speak about peace and security at a UN level, it's always, the high level diplomacy, it's the peacekeeping missions, it's how many boots on the ground, it's all those kind of things. And the UN has seen this sort of shift away from that to trying to be a little bit more, how do we build partnerships with communities? How do we do more sustainable peace building? Because I mean, we saw in the last few years just how many peace missions the UN has deployed that have failed, or have not met their mandate or have been extended, which have just essentially become wastes of money. And so I think there's a big case to be made to say, now that even the UN is facing financial constraints, given the current climate in the world with countries like the US withdrawing their support from key UN agencies, there's a case to be made to say we need to work with what we have. And one of the key things that, as you've pointed out, Lillian, we have in Africa is we do have existing traditional leadership structures whose task it is to maintain law and order and peace within their communities. As you said, many people in our context, even in South Africa, there are still communities who don't go to the traditional courts or the traditional structures. They use their community courts and structures. And so I think building this network, one, as we build it, we are also building an asset for our network, this network of royals. And then the question of whether we're able to make the case to a stakeholder like the UN about whether they should support it or put money into it or integrate it into their plans, I think depends, one, on how we position it. So, how we make the link from the local level to the global level. How are we making sure that these traditional leaders that we're equipping, we also platform them in spaces so that they're visible, so that people start asking questions about who is this youth network that is able to bring both young people and traditional leaders as co-creators and partners of peace into these spaces. So that's the first thing. It's the visibility and the almost the brand association that we have as one of the key networks on the continent, mobilizing intergenerational partnership between youth and our youth members and network and the royals and traditional leaders structures. So that's the first thing. The second thing is around how we nationalize it, because I think one big thing about the peace and security agenda, especially the youth peace and security agenda, is that UN Resolution 2250 was adopted several years ago, but I think there's only 2 or 3 countries in Africa that has actually followed the recommendation of creating a national youth peace and security plan. I can't remember the countries off the top of my head now, but if you go look, there's a very small number out of our 54 African states who have actually followed the recommendation, which is in 2250, to say you must create a national peace and security plan based on the recommendations from the broader resolution. And the reason it needs to be a national plan is because our countries are so diverse, and the type of violence and type of unrest that it faces differs from country to country. In some countries, you have ethnic-based violence. In other countries, the violence is based on gender or religion. In other countries like South Africa, we don't have an ongoing war or insurgency, but we do have gangsterism and we have crime. And so those are forms of violence for our context. And so as we're thinking about, how we make the case for Lillian, I'm getting some feedback on your side. All right.
Sorry.
The last point is just. All right, no, perfect. The last point is just, as we are thinking about how do we use the national networks of traditional leaders to co-create this national plan where one does not already exist, take the lead in mobilizing their communities to do consultations in terms of, what does a national youth peace and security plan look like for, a place like Namibia or Mozambique or the DRC or so and so, and with the traditional leaders playing a key role in that plan, not just as an ad hoc, because that's the problem when it comes top down from the UN. They sort of treat traditional leadership structures as an add-on. And we sort of need to make the case that in this current climate, we've seen that the top-down approach does not work. We need to argue for a bottom-up approach of which traditional leaders are the integral players to drive that. We have the traditional leaders network that we're building now, and so let us be that partner to you. And I think that's how we get them to agree to say, yes, we will give resources to this and include this in our budget because we see the value of it. So I think that work still needs to be done. And like many people have pointed out, we're moving in the right direction by already constituting the network. But we do then need to take that a step further and actually operationalize it and show the value to the stakeholders before we start having money conversations. Yeah, I think those are my comments, Lillian. Colleagues, I will have to drop off shortly, but thanks for the platform. Lillian, back to you.
Okay, but I would like you to talk about respond to women's Commissioner's remark on she thinking that the UN has a very huge budget and they should be able to fund us. I have explained this several times to most of them, but I would like you to, based on your expertise and working in committees and bodies, maybe explain to them how the UN works and how they fund stuff. And it's not compulsory, or I don't want to say anything. Just wanted to give your comments on what she said before you leave.
Yeah, I think I'm just I think I've basically touched on how we make the case. I think in terms of, you know, who we work with in the UN and so on, obviously we are not a UN affiliated, but we're not a UN agency, so to speak. We can be affiliated via ECOSOC and so on if we have the accreditation, so then we are recognized. But in that, I think it's important for us to find out who are the specific agencies and stakeholders we want to work with, and also it's not necessarily just a case of us going, you know, to the UN in New York, because the UN is also a very disaggregated structure in the sense that they have their country offices and their country agencies. So again, if we develop these national youth peace and security plans, and we do this in tandem with the traditional leaders locally, then we would build a relationship with the UN offices within those countries. And then via that, we are able to, you know, tap into the budgets and the planning that they have around youth peace and security. So yeah, we do need a disaggregate, and we are in a very good position to do that because we are building a global network which can also operate at different regions at a local level, rather than just trying to do it at a high level. So obviously the work that Lillian is doing in being visible at the UN in New York is fantastic, because you also, you know, have that brand visibility at a higher level. But we do need to approach it from a country level and empower our country teams to build those relationships with the UN agencies in their own country. Yeah, I think that would be my submission on that, Lillian.
Okay, thank you very much. Can we have the global director for administration envoy touch on that, and then
So thank you very much. I think our first vice has touched a lot, but let me share you my experience. Before I joined the International Youth Network, I was appointed by WOMA, which we are affiliated with now, World of Life Ministries International in Saika University. I was appointed as the ambassador special envoy for media communications and public relations. And so I had a UN tour by one of the organizations that I've also been appointed as a national advisor, Roof Sisters Fellowship, which our global president is also affiliated with. The person in charge is a Professor Ada. She actually took me around the United Nations for ambassadorial tour. So I had to study at least what the UN is for. So the UN is just an organization with 6 umbrellas. And within the 6 umbrellas, we fall under the ECOSOC. The ECOSOC is Economic and Social Council, which means all the NGOs you can find yourself, you can read about it, all the churches, the ministry, they all fall under ECOSOC. So the ECOSOC, they are appointed as a consultative status. Okay, so we are not part of the United Nations in general, like the organization itself, the head. They operate separately, like the Security Council. So under the ECOSOC, like our first vice said, you need to link with accredited organizations. That is why Her Excellency always comes here to New York, partner with these organizations who are in consultative status. Before I joined WOMA, I was also appointed as a media personality, as a peace ambassador for Universal Peace Initiative, which our ambassador, the global president, we met the Secretary General last year at the UN General Assembly. The whole idea is you need to do more networking to be able to meet with people. For me to be part of the ambassadorial special envoy, I need to raise money for the organization, which means even if I don't raise money myself, I need to do partnership. I need to connect with various big organizations, make recommendations so that people can make donations. So United Nations doesn't give money or fund any events. We are rather we are now trying to get our own ECOSOC so that we can be in consultative status. And so for us to do that, we need to work with organizations who are agents within the ECOSOC. So our point is now for us to raise money, we need to work with these organizations. So I'll encourage any of you, when Her Excellency puts on a flyer of an event at the UN or any UN related event, make sure you will be a part of it so that you can also study and understand that as an organization within the ECOSOC environment, what is it you need to know so that it can also help all of us, so that you can also network and find a way to raise money for your organizations. So that is my two piece on this one. Thank you very much. I hope I've explained myself, Your Excellency.
Yeah, you have explained yourself very well. I just saw that our global director for finance just joined. Rion, the gentleman who has been speaking, is the first global vice president directly behind me. And just so you know, he's also the co-founder of the International Youth Network. Rion was the advisory council committee, I think, chair with UFUNA, that's the World Federation of United Nations Youth Associations. And I was also part of the team. And I was made the president for Africa for the World Federation of United Nations Youth Associations. And I was the country head for Ghana too. So that's where we met. And the global board chair right now is Gabriel, who was also on the committee, the vice president for the World Federation of United Nations Youth Associations Africa. So I was the president, he was the vice, and Rion was on the council committee for the global. And he was also the country head for UNYA in South Africa. He's a white guy from Germany, but he grew up in South Africa. And Rion Gibril was also the country head, I think he still is, for Cameroon. So that's where we all met. And then there was a defense, something that we had to do with the UFUNA Council for Youth for the whole world. And I had to do the presentation. And from there, the three of us were able to pass something that has to do with the resolution 2250. So from there, we started the International Youth Network. So it's the three of us. So this is a story and a history behind the formation of the International Youth Network. At the time, we were also struggling with one or two things in Ghana with the UNYA, some bureaucracy and some confusion. So it was a good time for us to come together. And Rion himself was also struggling with the UNA in South Africa, Gibril too, same thing, UNA in Cameroon. And myself, it was as if it was ordained by God. With Jones by my side as my PA, and then there was a platform that we were having discussions, and the National Youth Network was birthed. And Rion is very experienced when it comes to the UN circles and serving on advisory committee and stuff like that, climate change. And that's why he became the first vice president and Gabriel the global board chair. And I'm the president. So we are the only three people that don't have term of office on our appointment certificates, because we have to make sure that we carry out the vision till we are able to delegate some positions to very important personalities. So he was the one that you heard from. Whenever you hear from him, he's speaking directly from the source. So I hope some of you took notes. But I want to say something, elaborate more on what His Excellency Dr. CNN said. He's our global special envoy and a director for ADRI. A lot of people have the impression that once you become a UN volunteer or SDG ambassador, it means that you are part of the UN officially, and the UN must sponsor you. I just want to make this thing clear. In the United Nations, nothing is free. I'm just being very honest with all of you. Now, the UN has different sectors, different departments, different arms, 6 arms, agencies here and there. The United Nations itself is not a country that does not make money. They are supported by the countries that I would say are the member states of the UN. You realize that, and the highest organization that funds the United Nations is the USA, United States of America. You realize, and then the funding, if you listen to how these two gentlemen explain, you get the clear answer. The funding that the UN gets, they draw a budget and they go to these countries that are members. They are what is the UN. Like Ghana is a member state. How much Ghana money does Ghana? Ghana even contributes for the operations of the UN. Now, the UN itself is not one body sitting down saying that, so people who have volunteered, let's go and give them money. They don't do it that way. The reason why the formation of volunteerism and the things that we are doing has come up is for the UN still to get help to push the job that they're trying to do. So now, once you become a volunteer for the UN, you start to do the things you are doing. It means that you are rather coming to support the UN to achieve its vision. Now, the Security Council, which is one of the strongest arm of the UN was born after the World War. And the Security Council, all the things they do is about ensuring peace and security, conflict resolution, and all that. They need budget so that their departments and the member states, that the countries that are the UN, their army, their department that sees to peace can move around to work. But they realize that they struggle with funding. So the UN, as time goes on, they began to let their arms begin to come up with resolutions, so that groups like International Youth Network can also hold on to some of the work. Listen, most of you can certify that if not because of International Youth Network, you might have never heard of Resolution 2250. Now, this is the job of the Security Council to make sure that you and I hear it. And they need more funding to push more ambassadors from the office, peace ambassadors, to go and do the work. That means getting more staff, pension, and all that. Or when they create the agencies, you see them creating agencies, UNICEF, UNFPA. UNFPA is in charge for population. They are the main agencies. So they create offices in every country. And the countries that they put the offices, their countries fund in those offices. I want you to understand how the UN operates. Now, there'll be like a lot of people find the UN attractive and what they are doing very attractive. When we create a budget and tell the countries that are members to fund this, they give us money. Sometimes it's not enough. So let's open up and get volunteers. People will be willing to pick some of the job and go out there and do it. Now, after 2 years of doing this job that we are telling them that we want to achieve, our other department, that's our arm, that is not even a department, it's a whole arm of the UN, that's the ECOSOC, can also give them now accreditation. When you even join doing the UN work, it takes minimum of 2 years. Now, ECOSOC will also give them accreditation. That now we believe that all the work you are doing for us, you are genuine. You're not in just to say that, oh, you want to raise money. We'll give you accreditation so that you can also begin to get involved more in the activities now officially. So that when we are now doing things, you can go to places or partner with same like-minded organizations that believes in your agenda, because they also believe in the UN, and raise money using our mandate or accreditation to raise the money. Because there are a lot of organizations, a company like World Bank or IMF, their number one interest is UN things. So if you heard what Rion was trying to explain, it depends on how we present ourselves and project. But there's nowhere in the UN that I can walk to today and say that, when you are doing your budgets next year, at International Youth Network, we need $1 million. Well, we have this. No, it doesn't work like that. You have to start partnering from the local level. Now, when you say UN, I just told you that we are now, I've managed for us to now be affiliated with CONANGOS, the coalition of NGOs associated with the UN in Ghana, the UN office. Now, that is where you start from. What is the budget for the UN office in Ghana? What are they doing? Would they even put us on it? It's a lot of people in the Konangos group. Now, the UN is now saying, look at SDG goal 17, partnership for the goal. What is your goal as a UN volunteer? Now, look for partners. Make sure you look for partners who have the same agenda, who believes what the UN is saying. Now, there are organizations that at UN activities attracts them. Write to them using our accreditation. And then you can get support. You understand? Mahmoud, please mute your microphone. So then, in order for you to get proper help and funding support, Jones, if you are here, please mute her. In order for you to get funding and support for the activities you do as UN volunteers, you have to go and show partnership. Let's you see that is very key. Now, When you come up with projects or idea, there are departments within the UN circles that almost that's their focus. Now, if your partnership level as you are going goes high, then you can be hitting them. Recently, His Excellency Dr. Sinege said something. Now we are partners with WOMAI. We are partners with Professor Adair's organization. Do you know why we do that? It's because they are higher than us. The reason you see me when I'm doing everything, I'm partnering. When I come to the US, majority of the things we are doing, we are partnering. It's because they are stronger than us. They are ahead of us in the UN circles. Another thing, as individuals, when you're able to take advantage of some of the UN programs, that gives you in the position to be recognized like you are a direct one-on-one UN ambassador. Like me, I took a course to become a UN peace ambassador. It has nothing to do with the International UN Network. So when I have my UN code and my UN badge, now when peace ambassador for the UN, nobody gives me allowance or anything. But what it does is that it places me on a table where I can meet people who are stronger, people who own or are managed by organizations that their interest is only supporting the UN activities. Then I can be lobbying and pulling those things in. And when you do that, sometimes what happens is that they don't even give you cash. They create the platforms and they expose you to places where you can catch you can catch the cash. And then what they do is that you must always present yourself very well organized. And you must always show a history of 2 or more years in volunteering for the UN. So it's not something that when you come, oh, I'm doing this, I'm a SDG, I'm doing this, the UN must give us some of the money. It doesn't work that way. Even right now, this year, the UNESCO is also another agency of the UN. They have a branch in Ghana. The head of UNESCO takes care of culture for the UN. Now, it's a pure agency. They are agency for the UN. This year, every January, there's a trip that they go, come, they study, the blah, blah, blah. They work in collaboration with the UNFPA, the United Nations, UNFPA is for the full abbreviation. They take care of population, funds for population. Every January, and that funding from the UN comes from the United States of America. Trump called that funding off. So if you realize this year, the entire United Nations, the UNESCO department, everything is down. So why is the UN itself not funding them? Well, UNESCO is UN. Where is the money from? UN doesn't have money. It's the countries that are members that, and then they have their interests. Okay, I'll fund UNESCO. Okay, I'll fund UNICEF. UNICEF is the United Nations for Children Emergency Fund. For any war or any country that children are struggling, UNICEF as an agent for the UN, that's their job all over the world. So every country, they are there. Now, some of the funding that comes for UNICEF, every country contributes small. So you see, children are very important. So children is still ongoing. US is still supporting UNICEF. So you see that even within the UN agencies, some of the agencies are struggling this year. I'm telling you, the director for UNESCO in Ghana is my body. Everything they are doing, UN Youth, he will call me. They are struggling seriously. The leaders cannot even travel. Because the funding for UNESCO for UN comes strictly from the US, and US said they don't like UNESCO activities again. They've put out. Which country can take that the budget? It's huge budget. So International UN Network, I want us to be clear on this. We don't qualify to draw a budget and go and give to UN to fund us. We had to start. That's why mobilization, lobbying, and we ourselves as individuals grow in the UN circles. So we can be placed at certain areas that once we move there, you can catch certain things. But then, however, there's a trick. The trick is that everything we do, it must go on social media. Everything. Numbers is very important for UN. Everything must go on social media. We must profile the leadership very well. That's why you see me paying money for our websites, this thing, trying to even to get somebody to even put people's pictures there is a problem. Meanwhile, my credit card spends about $800 every month in paying for websites, this. It's not because I'm thinking it's a waste of money, because that is the story that you must tell whichever department that you are from. You see me talking about the Department of Global Communications. That is where exactly we fall under. And before you can meet certain people, key people in the UN circles who head that department in the UN, you must show that within 2, 3 years, you have all these members. And all of them have been volunteering and doing this. And now they will give you the permission. Even to ask permission to host something at the UN, you must go through a country mission. Like Ghana missions, Liberia missions, this mission, they must endorse. Because the countries are those who sponsor the UN. And even when you endorse and you even qualify, you must partner with them to host the thing, and they will not give you a dime. When you get the UN, they'll give you the space per square meter. You have to pay because they'll tell you have to maintain their, and these are even the missions who even sponsor the UN. So that is why you must work and show pictures. It must go on social media, our website, our profiling. And then you heard Ron say, we must not make a case. And then the department that sees to those activities, you go them. When you go to them, you go as you want to partner with them. Well, this is a vision. And then because that is their department and they're interested. Now, if they accept that kind of partnership and they decide that every year we will host this with the International Youth Network, then that is the bingo. Then that department can now be factoring into their budget as they also raise funds. They also get the help that you want. So it's a step-by-step procedure. That is why when some of you take positions and titles, you don't work, like you are killing the vision of the organization. Because we have to show a lot of evidences and efforts. That is why you see some organizations, they are one more organization, they are not a member based, it's only one man person. But the person will network or very lobbying and getting people along, everything he's there showing partnership. You see the person going far. So partnership in the UN is key. Or like the women department that we have now, like Ambassador Hude, you come up with a big project to support women all over the world because you are a global appointee. And then we look for some of these people like Madam Ada, who are also into women things, and they are UN ambassadors, UN gurus. And then once you see her, you want to partner, she also takes you to another higher level. Before you realize you launched into a department like CSW, the UN women. If you go to the UN Health Office 2 days ago, it was beautiful. Different women organizing their own programs all over. It's partnership for the goal. SDG 17. Aside what I have just explained, Dr. CNN has explained, Rion has explained, there's nothing like we have to do 1 million budget to give to UN to fund us. This is the process, and this is the procedure. So I'll end here. Anybody has any other question or addition?
Thank you for the explanation. This is something many of us do not fully understand. We often assume that Her Excellency receives all her funding directly from the union body, which is not necessarily the case. Thank you. I'm with you all the way.
Thank you very much. Oh, I never knew even that some people thought that I get funding from the UN. From where? It's not true.
Oh, yes,
So I just
that's
make
a topic behind you. So we here, but we don't complain. But that's why I keep on asking questions. Do you understand? So thank you
yeah.
for the explanation. I'm very happy. And always, anytime there is functions, you must keep on knocking it on our heads. Thank you.
Okay. So you see, like what Ambassador Hude just said. Some people just sit down and assume that I get funding to be able to do things I do. It's not that true. You see, beyond the first global vice president, he doesn't get involved on the platforms, but he's on every platform, even on campus clubs. He's always traveling. He just sent me, there's something called G20. He just sent me, it's happening this year, it's happening in the US, a link for us to register. He works on this committee, he moves everywhere he goes, he's mentioned a name. Nobody gives him a dime. That's why to be a member of the network or to be able to do the things we do, you have to be a natural volunteer. And I always repeat this. If you are not somebody that's one kasangasa, you love to volunteer, you love NGO stuff, you cannot be a member, a committed member of the network. If you come and join and all you want is money. I'm just saying that somebody should just do screen recording, go and play it and try to investigate. I have never received one CD, let me not even use dollar, as funding to support anything that you have seen me do. Anytime you see us host events, recently we hosted our AGM at Kofi Annan. We paid $1,400 US. $1,400. And we wanted to, that's why you see me normally when we are doing things, then I want to add different departments. And sometimes some of our leaders will be like, Lillian, when we are doing youth MPs, let's do youth MPs. When we are doing, let's do this. I joined them because the venues are not free. And like Madam Hude said, somebody opened the mouth and said, oh, I'm sure that because we are volunteering for the UN, the Kofi Annan people sponsored us. Somebody, excuse me and forgive me, stupidly stood somewhere and said that. Kofi Annan is, my sister works there as a senior officer. For 3 months, they have not received their salary because the department of the UN circles or the country that sponsors some of these projects, the Kofi Annan vision, have all been frozen because majority comes from the US. So that funding has ceased. It's the same Kofi Annan that 4 years ago, when I was the country head for Ghana, for the UN youth, told me, the monitoring and evaluation expert there told me, Lillian, you work very hard. There's a funding that comes to Kofi Annan, and we always get surplus. So I'll teach you a strategy to write proposals, come and partner with Kofi Annan on the youth activities, and then we can be supporting your activity. You not get cash, but everything you do, the same place. But the monitoring and evaluation expert that told me, at that time, we didn't have a monitoring and evaluation department. And it's one of the key things in the UN circles. You don't have monitoring and evaluation. For them to be able to monitor things, they will not come on. But we didn't have, I was even naive about it. So we started to create that department. The following year, the person was changed. And then the UN youth thing even collapsed. I moved to UNY and the same bewitching Ghana and the whole thing until we came to UN International Youth Network. We started from the scratch. You understand? So now, Kofi Annan that gets all those surplus money for funding doesn't care about the US pulled out of supporting the UN. Now, if you can ask anybody who works at Kofi Annan whether they are getting their salaries. So now they will tell you, if you like, you can quit for now. We owe you this number of months. That is Kofi Annan for you. So if somebody can stand on the side and say, and so now, where they make their money is from renting their space once more. In fact, they used to be very selective. You cannot just come to Kofi Annan and say, I want to host an event here. Recently, these Islamic boys went there to host something. They allowed them. When they messed up the play, they were complaining, but they needed the money. So if people stand aside and say that, I will see Madam traveling here and there, and the UN gives her the funding and she takes all the money, it's very ignorant and, excuse me to say, it's very stupidity, a high level, if not witchcraft. And the sad thing is that majority of the people who have been placed on tables that must read and learn and work hard for us to network, they don't read, they don't learn. Somebody can hear some of this nonsense, saying, enemies, I want to do it again. Okay, well, let's assume that I'm traveling and moving around, so I'm getting funding. What are you also doing? Why don't you also move around and work hard so some of the funding can come to you? But rather, I won't do it again. You yourself are not doing anything. You are sitting down, folded arms, and you're talking about you are not getting some of the funding. So who should work for you to come and chop? But the truth is that I'm not even getting any funding, but I have a vision. And naturally, this is what I love to do. My son, Jones, is here. Jones has been my PA from when he was in the university. He's now finished. He's now even a lecturer at the university. He's now a full-grown man. I knew when he was a tiny boy like chewing gum. Just forgive me if you are here. You understand? Jones is now the CEO of Youth Impact Parliament. People see it and they'll come and tell me, Madam, your own PA that you've been grooming, making this boy your right-hand man from UN Youth, UNY, when you're Africa, where you are this. Now he's forming his own youth parliament. It's confident into Madam, stop him, Madam, sack him, Madam, do this. What they don't know is that what we are doing is that we are mentoring these people to grow up to be what they are doing. So this is something that naturally comes with me. I don't need to be paid for even me to do it. This is what I want to do, regardless of whether I want to affiliate with the UN on my own. I've always had NGOs, humanitarian reach out. When I was a very young girl, tiny girl, I was doing humanitarian reach out, doing medical screening, cooking for
I
kids.
am a
That's how I
living
met.
witness. You even sponsored us many times.
And I
I
was a
know
very
what you are
young
talking
girl in
about.
my early 20s. When I get my salary, I cut it into three. I'll save one portion. That portion is to buy food and keep. And then I look for people. I've always liked partnership. I look for people who are already feeding people and they are doing things. And I'll go to them. Now give it to them. Let's organize. Let's do it together. Madam Hude has been like my mother figure. When I went to her for the first time to sponsor the party, see kids in her neighborhood. At that time, Hacho area had a lot of slums. She would mobilize all these children. And I saw it on social media when Facebook had just come. And I was very young. I went to her, I see her some half caste woman or brony woman, but I thought this woman is doing too much. For her to be doing this, even if she's rich, she needs to be helped. As poor as I am, I went to her with my things, with my cultural dances and things. Then I had just come back from school from London. I had nothing. I was working at the bank making small chicken change. So naturally, this is what I love to do. So what if you come to join and you don't work? You see that I don't care. If you work, it's a plus. And if you think that somebody is giving me funding, you came to meet me doing this, so somebody is even helping me with funding, it's a good thing. But then I'm just being honest with all of you. Right now, as I'm sitting here, the only person that supports me is my husband. But he has realized that it doesn't matter what he says. This is what I want to do. So then he'll be pushing me. And I have people like Dr. CNN, Amza, who supports me with their resources and their time. I can come to the US and every movement I'm going here and there, you see a Secretary General moving me up and down as if I paid for his car. You see, even Edward, I see Edward here. I'll go instead of going to stay in the hotel. So I'm coming to your house. They will pick me, put me in their homes. Have people cooking for me. To me, it's all part of cutting down my budget. And I remember when we did something in Ohio, our global director for finance, he was just joining us. And then we had a lot of things that I've ordered from Ghana that our brother Hobson was supposed to bring. But he changed his mind last minute. The whole thing was going to flop on me. And I already didn't charge people for it because I knew that I had help from Ghana and Hobson was going to bring them. One day, and this is where you see people who have the heart for volunteerism. This man was just joining us. He said, what and what do you need to get done? He used his money. He went straight, getting his own private company's designer to finish doing the design work, print them, took his own car, bought the thing. We have one of my special advisors, Apostle David, give us an entire venue that can even take 10,000 people. That usually we have to pay for free. So when you see me being successful, being able to organize all these things, it's because the support that I get are from individuals who also are like that. They also have the vision. And these names I'm mentioning to you, there are people that have also have their own NGOs that are supporting people and they are changing lives. So then they understand me. We're supposed to pay for our re-registration. Sharon was supposed to handle it. A year, $300. What's every year I cough out this money, but I wasn't in the country and the thing beats my mind. She didn't do it. I came and we're going to open an account. They said, international youth network that we are all jumping around. It's not in good standing. And the person that was in charge of these taxes and things, because of the money, didn't do it. And every year I have to give them money. And because she realized that if she come and ask me some way, then she kept quiet. But I see that and that is even worse. So when you give these things to the online agents, they even remind you it's even better than trusting individuals and saying this. So please, all those who have the notion that some of us get funding, it's a lie. It's a lie. And even if by the grace of God, that day comes and we are getting huge amounts of funding to the glory of God, we will not come and put that money in anybody's pockets. It will be used to push the agenda. That's why when you tell them, oh, we are going here, bring $10, let's do t-shirts for you, because all of us went to where they say they don't want to give. Because they believe that you have funding, so go and do the t-shirts for me to wear. The truth of the matter is that we are not forcing anybody to even be part of the International Youth Network. But sometimes when we are doing branding and we're giving you positions, I've bought ticket $2,000 to America. Let's all meet here. Let's all have this discussion. Let's all contribute $2 so you can buy buffet and eat. And you say, I get funding, so you won't buy. Then you will not eat. Because the truth is that nobody give anybody anything. Today, the discussion, you see that we're talking about the countries, but we end up talking about money. We're talking about the registration in the countries, how we can mobilize them. It became money. We shifted to even another thing, money has come up. So money is very important. Money. It may mean that Edward didn't come early because we had Rion and other people on the line talking about, and then with the global director for finance, agreeing that we must start taking some dues. Every country I go to now, everybody is sorry, madam. Even when you come to us, we want to host you well. So allow us to start taking money from the people to have money in our coffers. I'll say, no, wait. Let me mobilize this thing well. Let's have more accreditations to make the organization more like a Drew. And then let my global office agree, because In as much as I'm moving up and now, I have a team. You understand? So today, Rion, you know, who said we have to have this meeting and discuss this. And you heard what he said. And luckily for me, people who matter on this platform have spoken. So now, if it becomes a written statement, and then we decide that, okay, now every country, now to become an international youth member, pay $1. So equivalent to your own currency, then we mean that it's standardized. If you want to be an executive, all the peripherals that will give you to rank you is this. I've had many people have told me, madam, the peripheral, I don't have money, but I want it. Unfortunately, even if I own a printing press, I have to buy the inks and the things to produce them. But then the thing is that when we also go to some places, we have a signature that we want to look like that. That is why recently, even a global butcher was telling me that from June, he's going to come up with a rule. If you join the network and you want to position some way, it's going to be like club, like executive, different positioning. If you cannot even donate this amount of money, and even Nanekia, Ohio, who is the fourth global vice president, was telling me, madam, let's not even stop telling people, pay for your peripherals. Let's do it this way. And this is a global office. So I have to tell you, some of them called me, but they know my stand on no dues, no dues. And this is what they suggested. And Global Edward, you are here. I want you to listen. They said that we should stop even telling people, donate for your peripherals. No. If you are coming on the network as a global executive, this is the amount you pay. Rotary and all these people, they have these things in their clubs. Freemason, all these clubs and things, they do that. You're coming on the senior highest hierarchy. This is the amount you pay. We know the amount that they are going to pay covers their ID card, covers the things that we know that they must get for their position, for branding. But when they are branded well today, it comes back to us. So now when the person does the donation, or it's on the membership fee to be the global president is $5,000, for example. It comes with getting a UN accredited ID card. It comes with this. We know that a membership. But when we give the person the thing, to meet it back, we can collect it back. What is happening right now is that people will come and join us. You give them big titles. And then when, like, I say, okay, we are going here, let's go, and I go with them. And they meet other UN chiefs and the opportunities. And they say, give me $4,000. I'll give you a United Nations rep ID. In front of me, I can mention the name, but I'll not mention that CNN knows. The person will take the money and pay. But when I sit there and say that, so we have worked hard and we qualify for the UN to give us this ECOSOC accreditation. We don't have financials. There's an organization that says that they can help us with only that. But also, when it comes to pictures and videos, we have too much. I report there, baby, we have more than the words they want. But we should pay them $5,000 to help us with the financials so that we can get our own ECOSOC. Everybody, I'm not saying is your branch. All the leaders I had at that time, hey, I don't have money. I don't have money. Now, because of my own hard work for a UN chief, his organization gave me my UN rep ID card to be a UN rep for New York. It also even qualified me to get another UN seat at Geneva. Now, these UN IDs, when they are hanging them, it has nothing to do with the national youth network. It gives you some protocol and diplomatic status. Me, when I get to America, New York, every airport I enter diplomatic because of that ID. To understand the value of it. So I will serve and get it. Now, this man said, I need somebody to donate $4,000 to my organization. So I give that person a recommendation for the UN to give this ID card. The same meeting I held, that all the people that sat by me said, you don't have money. If you look at the number of us that were in that meeting, if you had to pay that man $5,000 for us to go and get the accreditation for International Youth Network, then all of us will pay like $400 each. And we will get it. And these things that some of these organizations get and they charge money for us to pay, now we'll have it and I can give it to you even to go and do it for free. They all said they didn't have money. Now, when the person said, Lillian, I have one UN ID. I need $4,000 from my organization donation. We have a project in Africa. We don't have money. Anybody that can donate $4,000 will give the person this UN ID. One of the same members that sat with me in that meeting that couldn't contribute $400 for me to raise the money
Lillian, me pay. Meet ya. Get them. I'm the one who sent the money. $4,000 cash. And the person got the ID hanging on the neck. He doesn't even know the value of it. And on the end of the day, your US sky is not even ready. So the diplomatic when you are traveling at airports, the benefit you cannot even use it just because he wants to have it and put it on his CV. And I was just watching quietly. But for the person to qualify, I have to send a recommendation. The network needed $5,000. He paid $4,000 through my own link to another organization. So, Madam Hude, these are some of the things that I go through. A lot of people come, they just want to be members and they want me to give them. I've given people positions that will tell me, no, I don't like this one, change. I want this higher one because they are updating their CV and they follow you to places, they meet people and they'll pass behind you, go and network with them. I can count more than 6 of our girls who through me followed me. Oh, let's go here. Go. Have met other people, and now they are called doctors. They are called this, and they paid the money to those people. When I discovered them, pushed them, they now go and pay the money to the other organization, get these things, and we are so where we are. That is why today, my first vice president, I'm seeing about 4 there, white people, they don't play. You see how I travel, with people, and then their network is expanding. And then some people will even go to places, they'll go and network, they'll not come and give you a report, they'll keep the things to themselves. So now he's telling me we have to change the way we do things. So he actually called for this meeting. The people in the global organization, global this thing, they will not even do anything. There are people who have worked hard for me from day one. What are they getting? Are they wasting their times? No. So please, all the topic that has come up, all the discussion that has gone on today, I'm happy. We've had a very transparent and detailed discussion. So you guys on the global platform, at least have the real understanding. So that when some of the country heads are confused, other people are talking, you can also educate them well. You understand? If you work hard, it's for your own good. The only thing that we didn't conclude, because I said that the global director for finance was not here, was the amount that if we are agreeing, we must charge every country. And then the first global vice president said that every operating cost per country is different, the currencies and all that. So we should look into it. But I thought, okay, when Ed is able to join us, then we'll get his final remarks on that. But he had also mentioned that before. And then that becomes a full operational distance. Then we start working on that and how to monitor these funds and stuff. And Dr. CNN who had mentioned that organizing programs and things can also help raise funds. Who monitors? It means that all the finance people in the various countries. It means that they have to be supervised by our global director for finance. But we cannot have people raising money and taking, and then we are still struggling. For 30% from every country, when they do things, must come to us. So I've ended here. So our Honorable Edward, we just came. We've been talking a lot about money. We spoke about all the countries that we are in. We spoke about those that have been registered and those that are yet to be registered. We spoke about some of the country heads raising funds and doing things on their own. And by divine intervention, we got to know and we stopped them. A typical example is our Nigerian people. They were raising funds, renting offices. To be honest, the office they rented was nice. I saw the video. Very nice office. The furniture, beautiful. I can put on our platform to see. But it was a money-making machine for few people. So that's why Israel Nigeria now was going like wildfire. I stopped every operation there. And because I need to make sure that the finance team is ready. And then John's, my man is here. He will tell you, I have stopped every country from using their own letterhead. Every letterhead is only one. If you go anywhere with another letterhead, I'll be called. And I just shared with you how I got a call from Canada because we have also put things underground. If you go anywhere, they come to our website, they come to our social media, it will show. There's only one letterhead that every country uses for sake of security reasons. And so our finance team is strong, or our monitoring team is strong. That's how it's going to be. And so Rion said we should have this meeting today. And at this meeting, a few of us are also going to have a meeting with the board itself and our head patron. And then we'll conclude on these things, and our constitution is going to be amended. So I'm done talking. If anybody has anything else to say, then I see the special aid to the Global Director for Chaplaincy, Mr. Martin Amevo, your hand is up. Okay, you can go ahead and speak. And then, but I think before you speak, let's allow the, because we've been talking about money for the past 1 hour. If Honorable Edward, you'd like to speak, we want to conclude on the amount to charge. That is the registration fee. That's the standard one. The board chair thinks that all those who come in high offices, when they come, must donate something. Otherwise, you cannot. You'll be a general volunteer. But to be a member, they are thinking that there should be a cut across amount. That should be very, not too much. That is your requirement to be part of the network. I've been struggling with this, but I think it's getting to a point that the weight is bigger than me. So let's have you speak, and then Mr. Martin will speak. Thank you. Okay, Mr. Martin, go ahead. I think Edward is not ready. Honorable Edward, so once you are ready, let me know. So remember, please go
Well,
ahead.
thank you very much, Your Excellency. Yes, thank you very much, Your Excellency. Well, I just come on board to appreciate the enlightenment. It's a good work. I just applaud you. May God richly bless you for all the activities that you are going with. And then I know the vision will be succeed. For us, I mean, we will all come together as a team to work and support your vision. I think it's going to be well with all of us. It's going to be well with all what we are planning for the future. Although I didn't raise my hand, though I was just applauding. But since you've called me, I have to come in with this. And I also want to thank my boss, the Global Director for Chaplaincy. He also did well. I mean, for all the directions and guidance given me at the back door. I really appreciate it. Thank you very much. God bless everybody who is here with us. May we all grow with a passion and vision to achieve this successfully. Thank everyone. Bye bye.
Okay, anybody has anything? I see. Okay, I think Edward is ready now. Please go ahead. Global Director for Finance, please go ahead. Oh. Okay, anybody else have anything to say? Prophetess Irene.
No, mommy, we are here to support. So I got you.
Your Excellency, let me add a little bit of motivation, so that people will fully enjoy being part of the Security Council way forward. One thing I've learned is that if you don't have money, you have skills. Okay, everybody here, we're special people. We are. God has placed certain things in us that we don't know ourselves. It's only that I get involved with those organizations and then International Youth Network, and I see the value of me. You understand? Even though I've been doing media work for a long time, but when it came to the United Nations, it was only me going there to cover a story, and then that was it. But then on the other side, when I get involved in actual work of the humanitarian and United Nations and networking, then I saw the value that we have in us. Let me give you a typical example. We were there at the UN General Assembly with Her Excellency. I will encourage every one of you, when we put it that we are going to the General Assembly, find time if you can, because you will see your value. You see what you do, that you're not just an organization that you are just volunteering for the sake of volunteering, but you're also doing something that will place you above certain place, that you yourself, your value will motivate others. Your value will have an influence on others. We went there for the UN Observer for Water and Sanitation. They have a conference. That was a special invitation that we went. That was a invitation from His Excellency Bannister and Professor Ada, because they were organizing those events. So as partners, we have to be a part of it. And we went. We met so many high-level personalities. And one of them was a NASA representative. Remember Her Excellency NASA, a person is a scientist. And he asked us who we were, and then we introduced ourselves. He ended up having a conversation and had a long conversation with us. You see, so like I said, you know your value when you get to these places. That, oh wow, you are all one of us. When you get to the United Nations, you see all kinds of organizations, from churches to various organizations on different aspects. There was a person who talked about losing a loved one, and so because of that, set up an NGO. When I also share my experience with her as a public health advocacy beside the international network, she was also impressed. Public health advocacy on kidneys. The organization, I have set up my NGO just to advocate for promote kidney failures and transplants advocacy. You go there, you meet people, different walks of life. So I will encourage all of you. It's not about money. Me, if you ask me to bring 1,000, I don't have right now. But guess what? With the skills and networking that I have, they need it. Each one of you has something within you, so use it. You are whichever state that you are. I will also use another person example, Chairman Jerry on the line. It's so much a vast experience in New York City as a used to be still ambassador, Brooklyn ambassador. Worked closely with who was a borough president, the former borough president Eric Adams, soon to be the New York mayor. All these things links to United Nations officials. You meet senators, you meet council, city council officials. It's not just you being an organization. It's a vast network, and you meet people that they also help you because you are with a particular organization that they also see the difference. What is if it wasn't Her Excellent Lillian? I wouldn't even know anything about International Youth Network until I got involved. I used my skills and experience in the media, and then I found myself, oh wow, it's a different level. So those people within the organizations at the UN, they also tap you. Oh wow, we need you as a media and PR personality. We also get you involved. So like I said, everybody has special in you. It's only when you get to the UN that you start having a conversation. Then you realize, oh wow, it's not about the money, but they also need you. And through that, they also help you in whatever endeavor that you do. So when it comes to the issue of money, don't panic. But remember, just start from somewhere and just organize it. You will get people that will also help you and be able to raise money that you also see your value. Thank you very much.
Wow, that's brilliant. New York State Chair, Jerry. Your name has been mentioned. So Flo, let's hear from you.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency.
Welcome.
Yes, I extend my greetings to all the leadership here, and I have listened carefully, and I will congratulate you for your leadership and all the leaders on the platform. I think a lot has been said, and I will just make it brief so that we all be on the same page. Each and everyone have experience, and I would like to hammer one of the things our sisters say, addressing the misconception that is out there. The misconception about leadership, receiving funding and stuff like that. And that is untrue. And that is killing us like a cankerworm when it comes African leadership. That's why we cannot support our own. That's why we all think there is white man out there. That's why we all think there is manna falling from somewhere. Instead of we empowering our own, supporting our own by things that we've been doing. If I don't support Evangelist CNN to build his media empire, if I need sponsorship, how can he there for me? So you realize that a lot of African community businesses, all our infrastructures are going down, whereby we can empower our own. As he said, being appointed to a certain office really humbled me. It's not about the title, because you realize what is on the ground. You realize other communities, they are not better than us. They are thriving. They are doing so many things. But when it comes to ours, it's no, 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 no. So these are kind of leadership seminars, forums, and trainings that we need. And we can also make it be part of a general meeting so that we can be addressing this issue by supporting each other. Again, you did mention about paying dues and stuff like that. My take here is about we are addressing the youth, and sometimes they don't have money. So we need to come out with a categories of registrations. Number one, we can make a free registration, and we break it down to categories. That will help us a lot, because we need the voice of the youth, because of the agenda is 2250, right? So we have to look at this. So that is my intake, and a lot has been said, so I won't say much. And my experience in New York as the most diverse city in the world, and this is the headquarters of UN2. There's a lot that we have to start doing here, and the rest we leave it to ourselves to see how we can empower ourselves. And we have to do more of the civic engagement. I think you did clear it out. They don't support, they don't give no funding. My little advice or my experience that I have is there is always RFP out there. So we need to have the insiders, those on the table who can help us. That's why we always need an insider that can stand up for us. If you don't have insider, it's very, very difficult for you to get the things that you need. So that's how we need to look at it from that category. So I'll end here. Then I thank you for sharing my piece of experience and committed to be part of this great organization. So thank you very much.
Her Excellency, let me also use this opportunity to thank Jerry for me. I remember when the late Reverend Jesse Jackson died, Daily Guide selected some images, iconic images, for their tribute post feature. And then I saw people sending me some images, and then one of them was my picture with Reverend Jesse Jackson at the Ghana at 50 ceremony. That was 19 years ago when I was there to cover the Ghana at 50 ceremonies when he was in Ghana. And what Jerry did was, he was one of those people that invited me to share my experience with the iconic image. And there was a one professor, Professor Smalls, an African American professor who has so much vast experience here as a professor, and his experience in Ghana, an African American connecting with his roots in Ghana. He also shared his experience, and for me to have the platform to speak, I want to use this opportunity to thank him. Like he said, we must always create opportunities for all of us, because if you don't, the white person or the other person will not be able to do that. So that is the essence of why we, as members of the youth network, networking, harnessing each other's potential, and also whatever that one needs to be able to elevate, we are here to support each other. So it's just a typical example of what he did. He knows me as a media personality for all these years, but because of celebrating the Reverend Jesse Jackson, the whole country in America, that iconic posting was all over the place on social media, even here in America. He used it as an opportunity for me to come and share my experience. So I thought as a member of the International Youth Network, and also me being also a partnership business partner in New York City, it was an honor. So that is what we must always do. That when we see things that we feel that it can help all of us, we should create the opportunity. So thank you very much once again, Jerry.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Wow, I love this. This is like family already. Secretary General wanted to say something. Like, I don't see him. So I think some people wanted to speak. I'm falling off. So anybody else have anything to say so that we close? We said we'll close at 11:40. It's 11:40.
Mm.
I don't like going beyond my time.
Hey.
Yeah.
That's good.
That's Jones. That's my special aid.
Oh, great.
Jones, do you have anything to say? Read and submission. Yeah. Okay. I think I just had a WhatsApp this thing. My Secretary General is going to say something, but we cannot wait forever. I think he's still at work. He had to step out of the group to attend to something. I see.
We want to see that thing. So the wash and wear, which one of them.
Oh, Jerry, please be muted. I see Ekia Sapon. Ekia,
See when you
Ekia, you have been on for long. Say something.
Thank you. Thank you, Your Excellency. Please, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can all hear you.
Okay. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity to say something on this platform. Good morning to everyone. Yvonne Sapon and Columbus Women Representative. Once again, thank you for enlightening us on some issues, and as well, Honorable CNN. I'm with you on the same platform. So I'm with you. I'm with you on what you have said. Personally, I am still learning and need more training and coaching based on what I have heard. I need more I'll get back there. Sorry, I'm at work. That is why. Personally, I am still learning. I need more training and coaching based on what I have heard. I need to upgrade myself. I'm already on upgrading myself on such issues as far as this organization is concerned. On the side of the organization, I need more room to explore in the organization. That is why my concern is on the peripheral. I have paid for, my question is, I have paid for everything, but haven't gotten anything to push me publicly. Aside my personal trainings and aside what I want to achieve for myself, I'm putting things together to work it out. But at the same time, I need something to push me publicly to be able to reach out to certain places, reach out to people, reach out to women, so that my work will be more effective in this organization. Thank you.
Okay. I'm glad that you said you're willing to learn. That's the way forward. Once you learn, some people are being pushed to learn, but they don't want to learn. So once you are saying, and one of the things that you hear is always saying, I want to learn more, I want to know more. So once the US country head is well seated, or it looks like I'm sure she's going to be replaced, you have a very good leader. The US is big. If I take up your trainings and your things, it'll be too much for me. We're trying to restructure the leadership for the US and then be able to flow and everything be okay. And recently, I announced when I went to Ghana, all the peripheral, the pull-up banners that were ready. We had during the ATM, we opened them, we displayed them, we did videos, and we showed for all of you to know that they are ready. Just that when you are bringing them to Ghana, it's expensive. When I was coming, for instance, Delta didn't give any luggage. I had to pay for 2 luggages and carried what I can carry. So I could only bring 7 pull-ups. They are here. I announced it on the platform. And then so the rest of the items, as and when people are coming from Ghana, it will be brought. Printing some of these things here are too expensive. That's why we do it the way we do. So I think that the head body is going to organize a meeting to discuss when we can really have a fiscal conference. I think on the calendar, you were supposed to host 2 of our major annual events. But like I said, we'll have an inner meeting to discuss what we'll do about our country head issue, and see if maybe the global office will take over and host it, or we allow the US chapter to host it. But for our US chapter, New York being our headquarters, maybe we'll have a discussion with Jerry too and see if New York can pick it up. But usually, we allow the US as a chapter to host at least 2 events before the year ends. And if the country head is not ready, if another state is ready, we'll see the state chair can mobilize and then we can make it happen. It could be a local within the country event or international events. And then we'll see aside what's like the CSW and thing. These are the UN events, not ours. We have the World Diplomatic Executive Summits, and then we have the Global Youth, the Model UN. That's for universities and then we're also open to any organizations. I know that we always partner with 3G. And then yesterday, Dr. CNN had told me that the registration is open. Okay, Dr. CNN, please talk about the 3G. Okay, before you talk, our Secretary General, he's at work, like I said, and I asked permission for him. Just before we go, he's here. So, Dr. Hamza, please speak quickly so that you can get back to work. He's very busy this morning. Dr. Hamza, Secretary General, please let's hear your voice. I know you are busy at work. I just asked permission for you.
Sorry, hello.
Okay.
Yeah, I was having a hard time to connect. I will begin by apologizing to the rest of the team for not really being engaging in this particular or important meeting. It's just that I just caught up at work. I work in the hospital and then we work any that weekend. So I really wanted to take this opportunity to apologize to the entire team, beginning from the president and the leaders of this organization. Thank you so much for accepting my apology in advance. First of all, I just wanted to applaud the president for really giving us a revitalization methodology where we can use to implement or to try to energize this important group of ours. And I've heard a lot of comment that has been made by prominent people who really connected on this meeting today. But I just wanted, for me, I wanted to touch bases on how I felt it would be important for us to be able to monitor how important we as a group will be able to finance what we're doing in our small ways. I understand we all have our own challenges, and then of course, people are financially incapacitated due to the current status of this economy. But nevertheless, as we know, you cannot do anything without having any financial inflow. And from our leaders who gave us a background of our organization, and as far as the United Nations is concerned, it's really hard for us to get some sort of sponsorship and whatsoever. So we have to make an effort to be able to connect it, or to make sure ourselves will be seen within the network of the United Nations itself. And so that would demand us to be able to come forth when it comes to finance. And I'm suggesting that if we're able to come out with an idea where we might have I think a due payment or something, just to support in our little way, so when we're able to start somewhere else and then able to put the organization in a good position, I believe it will continue to look attractive. I'm not saying it doesn't look attractive. Yes, it look attractive, but I mean, once we put it in that shape, it will enable us to do a lot of projects and a lot of program, which will go a long way to really entice a lot of people to be part of the team. And then that will help us to grow unabated as an entity. So I just wanted to thank everybody for being with us here to discuss these matters of importance in order to strengthen the capabilities and ability of this important network. Thank you.
Thank you very much. That's the Secretary General for the network, Dr. Amza Bukari. Zachary, I always say call you Bukari. God bless you so much. I really love this from you. And a few of us are going to have a discussion to come up with a amount. Like, Global Director for Finance was with us from the beginning, but he's an army. He's at the US. It's with the US Army, and he's also in an office that he cannot speak. So he's been listening and talking backdoor. So we'll have an inner caucus meeting and then come up with the these amounts in the fundraising strategy, so we can raise money for Mother Hude, able to continue her SDG activities. Mommy, okay, thank you all very much for coming. Dr. Amza, you are permitted to go back to work if you have to leave, but then we are closing. And I think you've also even given us the vote of thanks. The way you spoke, you've crowned everything. So I thank God for this meeting. I thank God for today, and I bless all of you for staying this long. And so officially we are done. But before we go, Dr. CNN, I want you to talk to us about your 3G so that people can spread the word, because you are one of our 3G Awards is one of our strong affiliates, the
Yeah.
brand. So tell us about it.
Thank you so much. 3G Awards. I started it. It's a dream of mine that I started. 2009. This year is supposed to be our 18th edition. So before that, I launched my magazine, 3G Magazine, which is 18 years now. And it is going to be the 15th because of 3 cancellations, the COVID and other stuff. So we are celebrating a special 15th edition. What we do is I use the one as a platform to honor unsung heroes, mostly people within our community here, all over, that are doing wonderful, that are not being recognized. And 2, to also create a platform for media practitioners like me, my background being in the media and showbiz. I wanted to use it as a platform to also pave the way for people to also come to America, to be able to share, travel here and experience, and also see what happens here in America. So it was an open door for anybody that is in journalism, whatnot, the whole media spectrum, as an opportunity that I have created. And then also 3 is also used as a networking for anybody, also promoting Ghanaian culture, tourism, inviting traditional rulers, public officials, ministers of state, entrepreneurs, business people, who have never visited America. I've brought so many journalists here in America. They've never been here in America before. The top high level journalists in Ghana, many of them. So we have been able to achieve that. We also brought so many business people within Ghana, ministers of state. And so every year we create an opportunity to bring people nominate. We have a loved one. We have been able to, among our honorees, have been Her Excellency, our global president, has been our also UN chiefs, which is Her Excellency Professor Ada, His Excellency Bannister Jerry, Excellency Chairman Jerry has also been an honoree. We've honored so many people. So every year we create a platform. But since last year, I launched my advocacy because I'm a kidney transplant recipient. I also use it that as a platform, as a public health advocacy to promote health, promote support kidney care, and also blood-related issues to do with stroke, heart attack, and also diabetes and high blood pressure, because high blood pressure is the cause of all the other four. You name it. If you know somebody say, "Oh, I'm sorry," it's always caused by high blood pressure. And so I use this as an opportunity to create an awareness. And so if you have somebody that you think has done so much, has done so well within this International Youth Network and is worthy of being celebrated, you can always contact me. Must be genuine, please, because we'll go deeper and find out and get references. And so, Excellency, especially within this youth network, Her Excellency will endorse the person that somebody will nominate, because we have to go deeper and research, and they will give you official letter of nomination. And so I have started with the nominations. I started from the moment we finished the first one, because I have so many standbys. People want to be part of the nominees, so I have so many standbys. And so I also give the opportunity that if somebody is within this network and we feel is worthy of being celebrated, then we need to nominate. So if you feel somebody is done a great job within this organization, it has to be endorsed by Her Excellency and then also being presented to me. So that's how it is. This year we're doing October 23rd, 2026. It's a Friday. And among the affiliates, always, International Youth Network is part of a, high level corporate affairs organizations, and then a UN team, which is the three that we have, the WOMI, MAGMAN, and also Roof Sisters Fellowship. And so we also have, beside the 3D, we have other awards that they bring on the side. MAGMAN presents, it used to be the US presidential awards, but now President Trump has canceled it. So we also come with other alternatives. We have the Danny Glover, actor Danny Glover Foundation also has awards that they present, as well as the Youth Sisters Fellowship and also MAGMAN. So it's not just the 3D, we have other. And I hope that this year also, International Youth Network will also present an award to somebody. A few people say, you know what, it is coming from International Youth Network. Through these awards, the International Youth has also meet partners, meet network, so that they also help us to organize our events. That is why it's imperative that when we see other events that we are doing, that you also come and support. So we also support you. Thank you very much.
That's good. Yeah, I think 2 years ago I received an award on the 3G. Okay, so we'll see how we. I don't know whether you said something. You said we can also present our awards on the. We present people to be awarded
No.
by
What
3G.
I'm saying is this year you can nominate somebody, because we have our own diplomatic board. But I also feel like an International Youth Network person also must hold that 3G Awards trophy. Is a very elegant
Oh,
trophy,
okay,
you know.
okay.
Yeah. But let me also acknowledge Jerry's company also on tourism. It's also been partnership. Jerry also organized the Kente Festival. So we also in partnership with the Kente Festival. So it's also part of the network to promote culture and also chieftaincy, and also connecting the African Americans to our roots. So thank you very much.
Oh wow, this Kente thing, Jerry. Let's talk after this program. I'll tell you something. I don't want to bring that on here. So I think those in Ghana is getting late for them.
Your Excellency, please, let me just say this because it's very important. As I was appointed as a Brooklyn ambassador, official Brooklyn ambassador, office of the Brooklyn Borough President, we are the most populous borough in the whole of New York State. And these are some of the initiatives that I made that I proposed to the borough president that he officially proclaimed Kofi Annan Day in Brooklyn. So I think Kofi Annan Day is just around the corner. So if we can do a webinar, then we will see how we can connect other community leaders to join us. Although it's very close, but we can use it as our own initiative. Then we leverage after this year and see how we can be at the highest office to celebrate it, because nobody is doing that. I remember that time we reached out to Switzerland, where the wife is. We spoke to them and stuff like that. The mayor wanted to bring them, but they couldn't. So this is something that we need to take it up and call it up.
Okay, so luckily our Secretary General is still on. He also works in the office of the mayor of Newark. So the two of you have to meet. To be very honest, I'm very happy about this, what you just mentioned. We have to be able to leverage on some of these activities and host programs. We've been talking about funding. Some of these programs are programs that even when you tell people to register to attend, physically they will. I'm just being honest with you. And we've had some kind of partnership with Kofi Annan before. But like I said, the commander that was in power left like 3 years ago. So anything with Kofi Annan attraction will even help us, even with our Ghana chapter. So we'll talk more about it. And I'd like you to get to know His Excellency Dr. Amza. He also works with mayors. Have you met him before?
Not one-on-one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'd like you to get to know him. He also works with mayors and stuff.
Yeah.
And
we have done a lot of projects with them.
Oh, okay. The way you are very influential
Yes,
in Brooklyn, he's also very influential here in Newark. So we have to do stuff together. Okay, so we'll talk back door with the Kente thing that you mentioned. So without anything, I think we can close.
Hello.
Who wants to
Madam
say
President.
something? Go ahead.
Yeah, I just want to say something really quick.
Go ahead.
Sorry for just engaging. I just have a few seconds. I think I just heard him spoke about engaging in this culture exposure and a lot of stuff. And I remember recently, last 3 weeks, I don't know if he heard about the Ghana Culture and Tourism outlet that was opened by the current government of Ghana, NDC. I would say maybe President Mahama, by a way of appointing a director to the Ghana embassy. I don't know if you had the opportunity to meet that lady.
Yeah, I did.
Okay, and then so
as
you
soon
had
as she was appointed, I was rich, so I met with her.
Okay. No, yeah, that's what I just want to get clarity.
Oh,
Okay,
beautiful. Thank you so much.
Okay,
Fatima,
no problem.
right?
So, yeah. So I spoke. Yeah, so I was just wanting to know if anything. Then we just connect. So, but are you aware of that the president is also coming on when is that Thursday?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
So would you be there?
Yes, I will.
Okay, no problem.
I'll be there in New York and also Philadelphia.
Okay, no problem.
He's also you went to as well. He's going to speak about
Monday. I'm going to get my room pass, and then I go there, make him go to the ceremony as well, and then also get
sorry,
ready
my
for.
line dropped. I didn't hear. Oh.
Well, he mentioned about.
Go ahead, Evangelist.
He mentioned about the Ghana's president. When there's a ceremony that he's going to be performing, but incidentally, I have to also go to the UN to renew my pass. So I'll pick up my pass tomorrow, Monday, and also attend the ceremony. He also will be in Philadelphia because he also be honored by the Lincoln University. You have a talk at the Temple University.
Who?
So the president of Ghana,
President Mahama.
Yeah.
He's performing where?
It's at the UN. Monday.
I see.
Yeah.
No, the UN one is Thursday. It's Thursday.
The one is Thursday. Sorry. There's also Philadelphia, the Philadelphia event, and also Investment and Promotion Council seminar with businesses with the ambassador from in DC. I have the flyers. I think I'll put them on a platform so that those that want to go through the Zoom or something like that, they can also be a part of it. So I will share these things on the platform.
Okay. But at times that you have to get to know Jerry. He does most of the things that you do too.
Yeah, you must know. You must know Jerry. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Sometimes we're gonna reach out.
Okay. Anybody else has something to say? Oh, then so who will move for the meeting to come to an end?
Yeah, I'll move.
You are who?
Dr. CNN, His Excellency Dr. CNN.
Okay. Can we have a second, please?
I added my voice, but we need more of these meetings for
Yeah,
leadership
sure.
empowerment,
Yeah.
especially yeah.
I agree.
We need I this is off unofficial, but we need a new country head for US. I think I need a white man or a white woman.
Okay, that's true. That's understandable.
So that I see and make it happen.
Okay, we'll work on it.
Dr. Hamza.
Yeah.
I know
Hamza,
he will side with me.
you can use the new Newark network. Jerry also use New York network.
Dr.
Yeah.
Hamza.
Yeah.
I just said that I need a new country head for US. I need a white man or I need somebody. Okay, honestly,
white man or white woman or Caucasian woman.
We,
You
we,
have to be
we,
an
th- th-
African.
there's more than 1,001, but as I said, we need to have a proper talk. There's a lot of people. I mean, even in my way. So we will talk later.
What she's saying is for diversity. Doesn't have to be a Ghanaian or African.
Mhm.
So if it's a white person, it's okay.
it could be any
Or
it
Indian.
could be anybody, but not a Ghanaian. I'm being honest.
Yes,
No,
yes.
no. What I said is that there's, of course, like, because I work in a Morristown Medical Center. Of course, it's a hospital with a larger population. Of course, the higher percentage is Caucasians. It's only a few, like 3% Africans. So, I mean, a lot of friends based on the position that up carrying, I'm totally linked with a lot of people that we go to networking and that stuff. But as I said, we just have to have a proper talk to iron certain things, to put certain things in perspective before we can bring them in. You know how when they getting themselves committed into something, they really wanted to get a detail of what we are entrusting them into. So that's why I said we're just going to have a proper conversation about that and know how we're going to package this stuff and have one-on-one meeting with them after we then expatiate what our perspective is with them. Then from then we find a way to implement the next stage of action. So we're gonna make it work. Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay. Thank you very much for your time. I'm still here in the US and we have to. Okay, I'll see you, Dr. CNN, tomorrow. And Dr. Hamza, I'll see you this evening. And I'll see Jerry soon. And then I might go to Ohio. So, Papa Tazari, are you still in Minnesota? Okay, maybe she's
Yes,
not on
mommy, I
it.
am. Yes, I am. I'm still in Minnesota. Yes.
Oh, okay. Minnesota is so
Yeah.
cold. So if I'll come there, maybe it should be sunny.
All right.
Okay. You have to socialize more and get to know some of these guys on the platform. They are very influential.
Okay. All right. I'm
Mhm.
willing to learn.
Just like you said. So
Yeah.
officially we've closed.
Yeah, are you able to bring this document to my office because I need to peruse the document and make sure I will be able to transfer it to the next patient? No, I need the file number 4. Okay, no problem.
Her Excellency, please, I would like to put this across. This is an appeal. I am ready for anyone who wants to coach me. I need coaching, and I need someone who will train me. different platforms. So please, this is an appeal.
Okay.
Any training, women organization training, other training. So get back to him, but I couldn't. So I've been asking questions, I've been doing research. So please, I want training and coaching. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, I think I didn't hear you clearly, but with regards to women training and stuff, we'll talk back though. We have a lot of women, we've been doing a lot of women stuff in Ghana. Here I spoke to Anita about it. The women are very strong. We have this African American woman who is biracial in Ohio, and she is very ready to do things. And then I think we went to her resource center twice, and she does a lot of things with young women. It's amazing. And she also even wanted us to organize something with all the women in all the network. But African American, they don't want to travel. So everything she would suggest, then she would say Ohio, her place. She has a very big church and a resource center underground where she mobilizes young people, mentoring them, counseling, the food banks and all that. But every idea she suggests, then she'll say Ohio at her place. But I mean, she has the space for free too, so why not? We've been there twice. I'm here to talk to her too. So I think the women will also have a meeting tomorrow. They said today, but I knew that I'll be busy because I've been having meetings since morning. So the women's meeting, some of you are not officially on the women's platform, but we are going to make that happen. So the women too can have their activities. We hosted the Strong Women Award or No Woman Left Behind in Ghana, but they messed it up. The women in Ghana messed it up.
Did
They
we?
didn't. My mommy is so here. She has got to be.
Did we? You
I
did
thought
a
you
great
left.
job. You did a great job. Why?
Uh,
Oh no, 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 no. Did we?
oh, I thought you left. That's why you catch me live.
Oh
But
cha.
but you see, I didn't know that you came back. But let me be honest. The way
I've
we
been
planned it,
on. I've
the way
I've
we
he- I
planned
heard
it,
everything.
but is it the way we planned it? The
You did
some
a great job. In
anyway, it could
fact,
have been better. It could have been better. I mean, a lot of people liked it, but the vision was bigger than what happened. But
it's okay. It's okay. You are
so
trying.
we want to repeat it here in the US this year before the year ends. I'm yet to talk to the women commissioner, and then it will come out.
Okay, well,
Yeah.
I'm leaving, so have a good day, everyone. Okay, we'll talk
Thank
again.
you.
Your
And I drop
Excellency.
tomorrow when you are coming here. Bring me white chill from your wife.
Chai.
You
That's
won't
the
watch it.
problem.
His wife sells the
I'm
best
delivering
white
watch
chill in
it to New York
America.
this evening, so you're probably lucky.
Oh, you are bringing white chill to
New York,
town.
yeah, I'll pass by. Yeah, I'll pass by your house. Yeah.
Oh, hallelujah.
All right, then.
Okay,
Have a
so I'll
good
be
one,
waiting. I'm
everyone.
home. I'm not going anywhere. I'll be here.
All right, so feel free to communicate, connect. Okay, we are always available. Thank you very much, everyone. Have a good evening. All right.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
bye bye.
See you all soon.
Bye.
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 Hmm. Okay.
I'm waiting for everybody to leave.
Her Excellency, please, I'll be calling you. Bye.
Yeah. Call me on my US line, okay?
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thanks, Jones. Bye.